Chapter 488. Of course, the landlord couldn't see this handsome man. The old man pointed at the room. "Young man, what do you think? Is it clean?" It was indeed clean. The floor was white, the kitchen was bright, and the room was well lit. It was perfect. "I'll rent it," said Wang Zhong. "Good." The old man smiled. He didn't care if this place was haunted or not. He would rent it first. The landlord wanted to pay at least 3 months' rent. However, he only had around 1,500 renminbi. Wang Zhong had promised to pay him in a few days. The landlord didn't think that he would lose anything, so he agreed. After closing the door, Wang Zhong threw his luggage aside and started to read the information in front of him. Discovered Su Kuan's spirit body. Age, 21. Lifespan, 68. Rage points, 49. Spirit body state. Remembers clearly how he died. He didn't want to die because the gas problem in the bathroom hadn't been solved. He didn't want anyone to die like him. It seemed to be a good otherworldly item. After reading the information, Wang Zhong knew what was going on. His rage points had reached 49. If his rage points rose any higher, he was afraid that this otherworldly item would become obsessed with him. His obsession was that he didn't want anyone to live here. If his obsession rose any higher, he would scare people away all the time. At that time, this place would really become a haunted house. "I'll reform him." Wang Zhong sighed in his heart and looked at the male student in the bathroom. What made him feel helpless was that the boy was naked, probably because he had died in the shower. Wang Zhong was a little embarrassed. Phew! Su Kuan blew cold air at Wang Zhong, but Wang Zhong didn't react. "Is this kid a block of wood?" "He didn't react at all," muttered Su Kuan. He purposely threw the shampoo bottle on the windowsill to the ground. "This will scare you to death." Wang Zhong still didn't react. He even wanted to kick him. Is there something wrong with this otherworldly item's skull? Does he want to scare me with this? However, if I were an ordinary person, I would be scared. At this time, Su Kuan also realized that something was wrong because he noticed that Wang Zhong was staring at him. To be honest, he hadn't been an otherworldly item for a long time. It had only been 1 year. Due to his obsession with dying in the bathroom, he had been staying here for a long time. Thus, it was the first time he had encountered Wang Zhong's situation. Su Kuan snorted coldly. It didn't matter whether the other party could see him or not. Since these little tricks couldn't scare him, he could only use force. But in the next moment, Su Kuan was stunned. Wang Zhong picked up the white towel hanging on the door and threw it at Su Kuan. "He's already dead. How can you do this?" Su Kuan subconsciously caught the towel and said in shock, "You can really see me. I'm staying here. You can leave." How dare you not put me in your eyes?" Su Kuan glared fiercely at Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong looked at him and said, "I know you're kind-hearted. You want me to leave because you don't want to die here. Don't worry. I'll solve the gas problem." Then, Wang Zhong found the place where the gas was leaking and turned off the main valve. Su Kuan was stunned. Wang Zhong continued, "However, I can't let you leave like this. Later, I'll go out and burn some clothes for you so that you can leave with dignity." Su Kuan almost cried. What a good guy. His rage points decreased immediately. "Who are you? How can you see me?" Su Kuan asked curiously. "Who I am is not important. Just come to me if you encounter any evil spirits." "All right. But can I stay here?" "Absolutely not." Wang Zhong shook his head. Although the other party was an otherworldly item, he was a man. He wasn't used to living in the same room with a man. However, it wasn't good to refuse directly. It would hurt the other party's self-esteem. So he explained, "It's not that I don't like you. I'm just afraid that I might hurt you when I perform rituals." What a good guy. Su Kuan was touched. He knew that the person in front of him was most likely a master. That was why he was so kind. Not only did he give him new clothes, but he also asked him to leave so that he wouldn't be hurt. "Master, thank you. I'll leave soon." Since Su Kuan had lost his obsession, he could leave. Before leaving, he paused and turned around. "Master, there's a terrifying evil spirit in this building." Wang Zhong's interest was piqued. "Tell me about it." "It's in one of the rooms upstairs." Su Kuan pointed upstairs. "After I died, she came here once. Her power was terrifying. I had to hide when I met her. What did she do to you? She didn't do anything to me. But in the corridor, I saw her pushing a man. She obviously wanted to hurt him. Got it. Then Wang Zhong went out. He went to the incense stall and bought some joss sticks, paper, and shrouds. When he got home, he burned a shroud. When 2/3 of the shroud was burned, the shroud appeared on Su Kuan's body. Thank you for the shroud. Su Kuan was grateful. Wang Zhong nodded. I'll go upstairs to deal with the evil spirit. Help yourself. Yes, master. Wang Zhong went upstairs. When he went downstairs, he asked around and found out that the room upstairs was empty. The reason wasn't because it was haunted, but because the owner's daughter committed suicide. The owner was heartbroken and left the city. The house was locked up there. It had been more than 5 years since the incident, but nothing strange had ever happened in that house. Wang Zhong came to the door and was about to leave his body to open the door when his phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. It was his sister-in-law. Yaching. Wang Zhong picked up the phone. Lija, someone just called and said that you owe them money. It's more than 200,000. What's wrong with you? My sister wants to divorce you. Tang Yaching said a lot, which made Wang Zhong feel helpless. I'll solve it myself. Ha ha ha, solve it yourself. If you can solve it yourself, you won't drive my sister's car and sell it. I'm telling you, my sister's car is broken. It's more than 300,000. What do you think we should do? Give me some time. Okay, I'll give you some time. How long? To be honest, Wang Zhong didn't know how long it would take to make money by solving the otherworldly items. He thought for a while and said, I'll deal with those who called me. Without waiting for Tang Yaching to speak, Wang Zhong hung up the phone. He reached out his hand, and his soul left his body and went through the door slit. The curtains in the room were closed, so it was dark. However, as soon as he got in, a notification appeared in front of him. Discovered Su Jie's spirit body. Age 28. Lifespan 66. Rage 99. Warning. When the rage reaches 100, the spirit body will attack. Spirit body state. A woman who was once troubled by love. Now she hates all men. She thinks all men are scumbags. She hopes all scumbags get the punishment they deserve. At the same time, the scene of Su Jie's death appeared in front of him. It was still in the same room. It was late at night, and Su Jie was drunk, wearing only her pajamas. Scumbags. They're all scumbags. They kept saying that they would spend the rest of their lives with me. I didn't expect that they would be together with my best friend. Ha ha ha. I'm so stupid. 2 bottles of red wine were scattered in the room. However, it wasn't enough. Su Jie picked up another bottle and poured it into her mouth. Suddenly, she took out a rope from the house and staggered up to the stool. She tied the rope to the ceiling and tied it into a knot. After standing on the stool, she cried and shouted, "Living is too tiring. Mom, I'm sorry." Just like that, Su Jie's best years ended. So she committed suicide. Wang Zhong mumbled. At this moment, he had already opened the door. His soul entered Lija's body and went into the room. As soon as he entered, he saw a pale woman's face in front of Wang Zhong. She stared at Wang Zhong and said word by word, "Who are you?" The woman's face was a standard dead face. There was no sign of life. A cold and gloomy air blew on Wang Zhong's face, which gave him some pressure. Is this the otherworldly item with 99 rage points? It's really extraordinary. However, he couldn't use force to deal with such an otherworldly item. Although this otherworldly item only wanted to punish scumbags, it hadn't killed anyone. Thus, Wang Zhong decided to continue persuading her. I knew this place wasn't clean, so I came in to check, said Wang Zhong calmly. Su Jie smiled disdainfully. Scumbag. Do I look like one to you? I heard the phone call at the door. You still want to deny it? You're indeed a scumbag. Sigh. If I told you that it wasn't me on the phone, would you believe me? Said Wang Zhong helplessly. You're still denying it? You're indeed a scumbag among scumbags. This B***TCH really hates all men. Wang Zhong's intuition told him that it would be useless if this continued. What should I do? Wang Zhong pondered for a while. Then he suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha. Not bad, not bad. You found out. Not only am I a scumbag, But I'm also a scumbag among scumbags. Eh. Su Jie frowned when she saw Wang Zhong's expression. Blood gushed out from her pale face. She was probably trying to scare Wang Zhong. Instead, Wang Zhong sent a slap flying over. Slap. As they were both souls, Wang Zhong could naturally touch Su Jie's body. Su Jie was sent flying. Although Su Jie's soul was very strong, just as the message said, Su Jie had never killed anyone. She didn't know anything about her own power. She was like a beautiful female warrior with an AK. She had no problem posing like a POS. But if she really met a strong man with a saber, she would probably be disarmed and surrender in an instant. You! How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you. Su Jie's rage was rising. 99,101,109,120. However, Wang Zhong was not flustered. He calmly said, I saw the scene before you died. You knew about your best friend and boyfriend. For them, you drank until you were dead drunk. As for them, they continued their happy and carefree lives. Do you know what I thought when I saw this scene? Wang Zhong laughed. You're a fool. Chapter 489. However, Wang Zhong was not flustered. He calmly said, I saw the scene before you died. You knew about your best friend and boyfriend. For them, you drank until you were dead drunk. As for them, they continued their happy and carefree lives. Do you know what I thought when I saw this scene? Wang Zhong smiled. You're a silly. Just as Wang Zhong was about to say something, Su Jie couldn't help but shout in shock. How could you know so much? Who are you? Wang Zhong sighed. Actually, you shouldn't be asking this now. You should be thinking about why I took the initiative to come here. Why am I not afraid of you? You're obviously terrifying. Su Jie was stunned. She immediately reacted. This young man in front of her wasn't simple. Her claws immediately extended, and she stuck out her long tongue. Wang Zhong said in surprise. The tongue of a hanged otherworldly item is actually so long. Just as Su Jie was about to attack, Wang Zhong laughed again. Ha ha ha. Do you know why I said you're silly? Why? Su Jie asked subconsciously. She was indeed very strange. After her death, she was obsessed with dealing with all kinds of scumbags. She was obsessed with her early death because of them. But she never thought about anything else. Wang Zhong said, although you hate scumbags and your boyfriend for betraying you, I think you're more pitiful and lowly. You used your death to help that scumbag. Tell me, are you silly? While talking, Wang Zhong took the initiative to walk in front of Su Jie. Su Jie was half a head shorter than Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong looked down at her and said indifferently, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. Instead, Wang Zhong deliberately didn't say anything. Su Jie's eyes widened. She anxiously asked, what should I do? Wang Zhong stretched out his hand and rubbed Su Jie's head. It's very simple. Take him out to play and make him spend money. Make him really sad. After spending a lot of money, make him wear a green hat. Su Jie swallowed a mouthful of saliva, as she recalled the time when she was still alive. It's a pity that you're already dead. Wang Zhong said, yeah, I'm already dead. What's the point of saying so much? Su Jie whispered. The next moment, Wang Zhong lifted her chin. But with me around, you can still take revenge on him. Woman, are you interested in what I just said? What do you mean? Su Jie asked nervously as she looked into Wang Zhong's deep eyes. Let's make him a cuckold. We can do something dirty between us. Ah, Su Jie stared blankly for a moment. But surprisingly she didn't back down. Instead, she looked forward to it and murmured, this way, I can take my revenge on him. Of course that's not enough. But with me here, I can satisfy you. Wang Zhong's tone seemed to be seductive. There was a charming smile on his plain face, as he stroked the rope that hung her. This rope wasn't a real thing. Because Su Jie had died because of it, a part of her soul had taken the form of a rope. It was as though some souls were still wearing clothes when they died. They maintained the appearance they had when they were alive. But these weren't real clothes. Su Jie's voice trembled. How can you satisfy me? Do you like to play bondage games? Ah, I've never played it before. Even though Su Jie wasn't breathing, her chest was heaving up and down. She held the rope and said, do you think this rope is suitable? Of course it is. Wang Zhong wrapped the rope around Su Jie's arms. This wasn't really binding Su Jie. After all, the rope was part of her body. He was only doing this to satisfy Su Jie's desire. Wang Zhong, who was well-versed in psychology, understood that Su Jie's resentment stemmed from the unfairness of her death. Why did the scumbag get away unscathed when she died? She couldn't find her ex-boyfriend for revenge, so she could only vent her anger on other scumbags. But now, Wang Zhong had given Su Jie the thrill of revenge through a game. Her rage points immediately came pouring in. After tying the rope, Wang Zhong considerately tied it with a bow. Su Jie looked at Wang Zhong nervously and expectantly. It was at this moment that Wang Zhong pulled out his belt. What are you doing? Wang Zhong smiled calmly. The more intense we play, the greater the revenge I'll take on your ex-boyfriend. If he knew about this, he'd definitely die of anger. Smack! The belt lashed out. Of course, this blow didn't hurt Su Jie at all. However, she still felt extremely happy and excited. Is this the thrill of revenge? Su Jie thought happily. An hour later, Su Jie floated behind Wang Zhong. Her rage points had already dropped to a level where they were no longer dangerous. She sat on the sofa and propped her chin up. Thank you for helping me take revenge. I'm suddenly in a much better mood. Wang Zhong asked. Do you still want to take revenge on your ex-boyfriend? Su Jie shook her head, then suddenly nodded. If there's a chance in the future, I'll help you. Thank you. By the way, since you can see me, are you a Taoist priest or a monk? Wang Zhong said. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm a Gehenna who's in charge of you. A Gehenna? Su Jie was surprised. I've seen people like you before. When a very evil spirit appeared downstairs, a Gehenna made a move. But I was very weak at that time, so he didn't care about me. Just hide when you see him in the future. Fortunately, you didn't harm anyone this time. Otherwise, things wouldn't have been so simple. After saying that, Wang Zhong clapped his hands and prepared to leave. The matter here had been settled, so there was no need for him to stay. He had more important things to do. First, he had to solve the debt problem. Are you leaving? Su Jie was reluctant to part with him. I still need to make money. I'm going to release some information to help deal with otherworldly items. Is that so? Then what if I get angry again? What should I do? Wang Zhong was speechless. Is she addicted to being beaten? At this moment, he realized that he didn't know how to operate a computer, and he didn't know much about social media apps and functions in this world. It wasn't convenient for him to release information like this. Do you know how to use social media apps? Wang Zhong asked. Su Jie nodded. Then let's go to my place. You help me do this? Wang Zhong asked. Do you know how to do this? Yes. Su Jie nodded again. After all, she was a young modern otherworldly item. She knew a lot about these things. Then, Wang Zhong opened the door and led Su Jie downstairs. When they arrived at the door, they met Su Kuan. This otherworldly item was worried about Wang Zhong, so he had been waiting at the door. Seeing Wang Zhong come out, he heaved a sigh of relief. Good morning, Grandmaster. Wang Zhong patted Su Kuan's shoulder. Why are you still here? Su Kuan said, Grandmaster, I was worried about your safety. That's why I waited here. Thank you, but I'm fine. But why is she following you? Grandmaster, you have to be careful. Kuan, you don't have to worry about this. This otherworldly item is one of us. I brought her here to do something. Wang Zhong always believed that being a netherworld officer was a duty. He had to be polite to otherworldly items. He couldn't be impatient. That was why he explained patiently. Su Kuan seemed to be a curious child. He asked in surprise. Do something with her? Do what? I don't know much about social media apps on computers and phones. That's why I asked her for help. Grandmaster, I understand. I understand. Su Kuan patted his chest. In his mind, Wang Zhong had helped him a lot. He had to repay him. Wang Zhong sighed. Kuan, you just left that house. You're still young. You should take advantage of these days to walk around outside. Grandmaster, you. Su Kuan was touched. The Grandmaster was so considerate of him. I understand, Grandmaster. If you need anything in the future, please tell me. Su Kuan left with tears of gratitude. Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. Compared to having a little brother at home, Wang Zhong felt that having a little sister was better. Then Su Jie went online. Wang Zhong told her that he wasn't Li Jie. Su Jie said while browsing, "So Grandmaster, you've reincarnated in someone else's body?" "That's right. I was lucky enough to meet the Netherworld officer. Now I'm just a small Netherworld officer." While talking, Su Jie took the phone. "Grandmaster, someone is calling." Wang Zhong looked at the phone. Li Jie's memory appeared. The caller was his big creditor, Brother Biao. Brother Biao's real name was Ren Biao. He specialized in underground businesses. Except for drugs, he dabbled in almost everything. Of course, the caller wasn't himself. It was just one of his subordinates. Wang Zhong picked up the phone. The first thing the other party asked was to return the money. Wang Zhong said that he understood. After hanging up the phone, Wang Zhong prepared to go over. "Grandmaster, will you be in danger if you go over like this?" Su Jie asked worriedly. "Don't I have you, Su Jie? Next, it's time for us to deal with the scumbag." Hearing this, Su Jie's face was filled with excitement. "Grandmaster, here's the rope." Wang Zhong's face darkened. "The tying game is just a small trick. We're going to strike hard. Got it?" Su Jie nodded, not quite understanding. "Come in." The judgment I opened a slit, and Su Jie went in. The previous Li Jie owed a lot of money. There were friends, relatives, and friends. However, this Brother Biao owed the most. Not only did Brother Biao open a business, but he also lent money. With the interest, Li Jie owed a lot of money. Arriving at a restaurant, Wang Zhong went straight to the basement. As soon as he entered, two burly men stopped him. "It's you." One of the guards recognized Wang Zhong. "Li Jie, the boss said you owe a lot of money. How dare you come here?" Wang Zhong smiled. He shook the bank card in his hand that only had 3 yuan left. "Today, not only will I return the money immediately, but I also want to try my luck." The two guards looked at each other with contempt in their eyes. "Li Jie, do you still have money? Jiaopi said that he called your wife's family yesterday. Your wife's family refused to return the money for you." "Nonsense. If I don't have money, why would I come here?" Wang Zhong shouted in exasperation. He looked like a brainless gambler. Chapter 490. Let him come in. At this moment, Jiao Pai, who was wearing a pair of glasses, came over. Jiao Pai was only in his 30s, but he had become Ren Biao's #1 follower at a young age. He had a lot of prestige among his subordinates. Since boss Jiao Pai had said so, the two guards had to let him in. "Li Jie, why didn't you answer my call a few days ago?" Jiao Pai snorted. "Are you trying to renege on your debt?" "Well, I'm here now." While talking, Wang Zhong scanned the decorations of the hotel. 2 stone lions were glaring at the entrance, and a clear spring was placed at the entrance. It was obviously an array to drive away yin energy. Moreover, the stone lions could scare away ghosts, so ordinary otherworldly items wouldn't dare to come here. Thus the hotel was very clean. Of course, he brought Su Jie in. As long as they were inside, she wouldn't be afraid of anything at the entrance. "Are you here to pay back the money?" Wang Zhong replied. "Yes, I'm here to pay back the money and play a few rounds." "Pay back the money first." "What's the hurry?" Wang Zhong waved the bank card in his hand and said casually, "There's 1 million here. It's bad luck to play with the money first. So let's play first." "That's against the rules." Jiao Pai frowned. Wang Zhong smiled and said, "What rules? If I lose all the money here, won't all the money belong to you?" Jiao Pai naturally understood this. He thought about it, and decided to fulfill Li Jie's wish since he wanted to lose. However, if Li Jie dared to play tricks, he wouldn't run away since he was already here. When he lost all the money, he would take him to his wife's house to collect the debt. After the two of them had their own thoughts, Wang Zhong was brought in by Jiao Pai. In this country, gambling was allowed, so there were many people coming and going in this hotel. There were many people who came to play. Su Jie was released at this time. She went straight to the place where they played dice. Wang Zhong waited for the right time, and threw the card in the big place. "Let's play a small round. 100,000. "Sir, you have to exchange your chips first," said the girl who shook the dice. "After this round, I'll exchange my chips." Then he turned to Jiao Pai and said, Jiao Pai. I have an inspiration for this round. Let's play first. Jiao Pai sneered inwardly. Let's see how you die later. Thus he nodded and said to the girl, this one. The girl understood, and began to roll the dice. With her skill the dice were naturally small. However, after flipping the lid, Su Jia reached out and flipped the dice over. 664. Big. The girl's expression changed. What was going on? Jiao Pai also frowned, but he didn't say much. Instead he smiled and said, Lija, looks like you're quite lucky. I told you I can do it, ha ha ha. Following that, Wang Zhong relied on the 100,000 yuan capital to kill everyone. Not only did he return all the money, but he also won more than a few million yuan. Of course, in order not to arouse suspicion, he deliberately lost a small amount of money. Even so, it still attracted Ren Biao's attention. Lija, your luck is not bad. Ren Biao and his men walked over. Not bad. Boss Ren, what's the matter? After saying that, Wang Zhong glanced behind Ren Biao. Look at how lucky you are. Come with me. Okay. Wang Zhong followed Ren Biao to a small room. Several men were waiting inside. They immediately surrounded Wang Zhong. Boss Ren, what's the meaning of this? Lija, you won so much today. I suspect you have a problem. Ren Biao crossed his legs and sat on the boss's chair. Search. A group of people came over to search him. Wang Zhong didn't resist, and even took the initiative to take off his coat. After a round of searching, they didn't find any problems. How is that possible? Ren Biao frowned. That's impossible. Tell me honestly, how did you win so much money? Jiao Pai pointed at Wang Zhong and shouted. Sai, it's not possible to win a little money these days. Who would dare to play like this? Wang Zhong sat on the chair casually. It's not impossible to win money, but if you cheat, you will be killed here. Lija, tell me honestly, how did you win? Ren Biao said indifferently. If you don't explain it clearly today, you won't be able to take the money away. Wang Zhong laughed and said, if I said that something invisible told me, would you believe me? Nonsense. Ren Biao slammed the table. I'm afraid you won't cry until you see the coffin. Faced with these people's threats, Wang Zhong's expression suddenly became serious. He stared at Ren Biao and said, for example, there's someone behind you. Boss Ren, I see that your face is dark. There was only a wall behind Ren Biao's seat. There was no one at all. Ren Biao didn't believe him at all. He said disdainfully, still trying to act mysterious in front of me? Wang Zhong didn't say anything, because a notification appeared in front of him. Discovered spiritual body Su Ro. Age 20. Lifespan 56. 78 rage points. Spiritual body state. Hate Jiao Pai. Jiao Pai killed her. Hate Ren Biao because Jiao Pai is Ren Biao's subordinate. She wants revenge. Su Ro's memories before her death appeared in front of Wang Zhong. Ren Biao and his subordinates weren't in this office. Jiao Pai pulled Su Ro in. Brother Jiao Pai, don't. Su Ro was wearing the staff uniform here. She kept pushing Jiao Pai, but it was useless. At this moment, Su Ro's leg slipped, and she fell to the ground. Pa! Su Ro fell to the ground, dead on the spot. Blood sprayed onto the wall, the chair, the floor, the curtains. Pa! Jiao Pai slammed the table. Tell me honestly, how did you win the money? Wang Zhong stared at Jiao Pai. He said expressionlessly, you used to have an employee called Su Ro here, right? Why are you asking this? Ren Biao frowned. Wang Zhong walked to Ren Biao's side. He pointed at the dark red bloodstains on the curtains behind him and said, look, this is that girl's bloodstains. When Wang Zhong walked over, the girl called Su Ro stared at him coldly. Don't meddle in other people's business. Wang Zhong said indifferently, I'm here to help you. How is that meddling in other people's business? I want to take revenge. Going to jail is also helping you take revenge. Oh my God. Ren Biao looked at Wang Zhong and felt more and more confused. He quickly ran to the sofa and asked, who are you talking to? Boss Ren, don't be nervous. Su Ro is still dealing with you. But if this matter isn't handled properly, who knows? Wang Zhong turned to look at Jiao Pai. Looks like I'll have to call the police. Jiao Pai's eyes flashed. His expression was uncertain. He thought that he had handled this matter well. But how did someone find out? The cause of this matter was because Su Ro came to work here. On the first day Su Ro came in, Jiao Pai took a fancy to this young girl, who just came from the countryside. But after several attempts, the introverted Su Ro didn't accept him. Jiao Pai took advantage of his high position here, and found an excuse to get Su Ro to come to the office. Then, he took the opportunity to touch her. Poor Su Ro died in an accident. Jiao Pai regretted it in his heart. But now, he could only choose to hide it. Because there were guards at the entrance, he could only put the body in a suitcase and smuggle it out. It had been more than a month since the case. Later, someone asked where Su Ro went. Jiao Pai lied that Su Ro had resigned with him. Since then Su Ro had disappeared. But he didn't expect the gambler Li Zhe to suddenly say that. If this matter was reported to the police, he couldn't escape responsibility. Jiao Pai hesitated and turned to leave. Catch Jiao Pai! Ren Biao suddenly shouted. A few of his subordinates stopped Jiao Pai. Jiao Pai said anxiously, "Brother Biao, what are you doing? I'm your brother." Su Ro's case must be solved. Ren Biao said coldly, "It's none of my business. It's really none of my business. If it's none of your business, why are you running?" "I'm going to the toilet." "Don't go to the toilet." At this moment, the door was pushed open and people from the investigation department walked in. The investigation department here was actually the police. It was only then that Wang Zhong realized that the people from the investigation department had been keeping an eye on Jiao Pai for a long time. The reason was simple. When everyone was wondering where Su Ro had gone, Jiao Pai was the only one who said that Su Ro had written a resignation letter to him. After all, Su Ro had only been working for a few days. Why would she resign for no reason? Therefore, the investigation department had their eyes on Jiao Pai and Ren Biao. When they found Ren Biao, of course, Ren Biao didn't admit that he didn't even know about Su Ro's existence. After that, he promised the investigation department that he would secretly watch Jiao Pai's every move. However, neither side had expected that a person like Wang Zhong would appear out of nowhere. And with just a few words, Charred Skin wanted to run away. And through Wang Zhong, the investigation department, who had been monitoring every move here, also found out about Su Ro's first crime scene. Therefore they simply rushed in. Jiao Pai was taken away. Only Wang Zhong, Ren Biao, and a few members of the investigation department were left in the room. After some questioning, they found out that Wang Zhong wasn't Ren Biao's subordinate. The team members were very surprised. If you don't know about these things, how did you know about Su Ro? How did you know that Jiao Pai was the murderer? The one who asked was Captain Liang of the investigation department. He had been in charge of this case for a long time. To be honest, I found out about Su Ro's disappearance through my sharp observation skills. When I entered the room, I saw the bloodstains in the room. Then, from Jiao Pai's expression, I guessed that Jiao Pai was the murderer. Stop bullshitting. Captain Liang snorted. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll lock you up for a few days. All right. Wang Zhong's expression became serious. He pointed at the window and looked at Su Ro. Jiao Pai has been arrested. You can rest in peace. Su Ro's rage points were indeed decreasing. Soon, she would become a very ordinary lonely soul and no longer harm people. Damn it. You're giving me goosebumps. Ren Biao cursed under his breath. Captain Liang also frowned. Still trying to act mysterious? I'm telling the truth, but you don't believe me. What do you want me to do? Wang Zhong shrugged. Humph. Take out your ID. Then, he checked Wang Zhong, and found that Wang Zhong really didn't have any criminal records. This made Captain Liang feel even more strange. In the end, he could only leave. After he left, Wang Zhong looked at Ren Biao and said, Boss Ren, you have to be careful for the next few days. Why? Your face is dark. Chapter 491. Your face is turning black. Wang Zhong was just about to leave when Ren Biao stepped in front of him. Brother Wang Zhong, you can really see what we can't? Wang Zhong smiled. I have a way to let you see it, but you're immortal. Your lifespan will be shortened by 3 years. Ren Biao quickly shook his head. Forget it. Can you save me though? Wang Zhong continued. Actually, your life isn't in any danger. As long as you pay attention, you won't be in any danger. Phew, that's good. At most, I'll be hospitalized for a few months. Ren Biao's expression changed. A few months? Brotherly Zhe, you can't just leave me in the lurch. Didn't you say you were going to make trouble for me? You even accused me of cheating? Ren Biao quickly explained. That's what Jiaopi said. I cooperated with the police to keep Jiaopi in check. Brotherly Zhe, tell me, what kind of disaster will befall me? As soon as he finished speaking, he felt someone touch the back of his head. Who is it? Ren Biao quickly turned around. Wang Zhong said gravely. It's Su Ro. Ah, she died in your place. Even though Jiaopi was arrested, who told you to be his boss? Su Ro has her eyes on you now. With her around, you'll only get more and more unlucky. Don't even think about making money. Just wait for your company to go bankrupt. Actually, Su Ro had long since run out of rage points and left. The one who'd made a move was Su Jia. Wang Zhong said this on purpose to scare Ren Biao and get more benefits. Ren Biao immediately asked what he should do after hearing Wang Zhong's words. He quickly took out the money from the safe behind him. Brotherly Zhe, don't worry. As long as you're willing to help, you'll definitely be rewarded. He's quite tactful. Wang Zhong looked at the money on the table. It seemed to be around 20 to 30,000. He nodded. All right, I'll help you this time. Thank you, thank you. After that, Wang Zhong pretended to cast a spell in the room. After a while, Wang Zhong pretended to be tired and said, all right, this Su Ro is really troublesome. She used up a lot of my mana. Are you all right now? Of course it's nothing. If there's anything, just look for me, Wang Zhong said calmly. Thank you, brother, Wang Zhong said. If you do more good deeds in the future, your business will be better. Okay. After leaving the place, Wang Zhong looked at the balance on his phone. He had won a lot of money before. Now he had more than 2 million yuan in his phone. Adding that to his cash, he had about 30,000 yuan. He didn't have to worry about money anymore. Su Jie, you did a good job. I'll burn some incense for you when we get back, Wang Zhong said to Su Jie as they walked on the road. Thank you, master. But can you burn a shroud for me? The clothes I was wearing when I died were too ugly. Wang Zhong was a little speechless. No one can see you, and you still want to wear nice clothes. Girls like to wear nice clothes. Okay. Wang Zhong was in a good mood. He went to the shroud shop and bought a bright red shroud and some incense. After going back, he lit the incense and the shroud in the bathroom. Su Jie leaned on the incense and nibbled on it. As she ate, she said with relish, "It smells so good." Wang Zhong sat back on the sofa and opened the social media app. With Su Jie's help, Wang Zhong had joined several social groups in the city. There were Car Club, XX Movie Exchange, Boys and Girls Play Club, and so on. Wang Zhong set up a nickname for himself. Professional, solving all kinds of strange things. Contact me if you're interested. He didn't play with these things, so he watched others chat for the time being. One group caught his attention. It was called Change Friends in the city meeting. The group was very lively. The people inside were discussing where to go at night, and then exchange friends to have fun. Let's go to the bar first. The bar is too noisy. Let's get a big bag. A girl chatted. Wang Zhong saw that it was quite lively, so he sent a smiley face. Guys pay 300 each. Girls are free. A person at D. Wang Zhong. I'm not going to have fun. I just want to ask something. Just as Wang Zhong sent out the message, he was kicked out of the game in the next instant. No way. Wang Zhong was speechless. What's wrong? Su Jie, who was enjoying her meal, floated over. Wang Zhong explained the matter and handed over his phone. Su Jie smiled. These are just random groups I joined. They're all that group of people. Which group? Wang Zhong was puzzled. It's that group. What? Change friends. Actually, it's just changing partners. Wang Zhong was stupefied, as he was struck by lightning to the point where he was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. How did you join these groups? Wang Zhong thought to himself. Fortunately, he didn't go too deep into it. Su Jie said, I just searched the nearby groups and added them randomly. Okay then, I'll go to other groups and post some advertisements. Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly. Actually, if you want to find these strange places, you can do that. Then, with Su Jie's help, Wang Zhong went to some strange forums in the same city. He searched for a web page and clicked on it. Just the image alone was very strange. Shocking, the boys and girls of XX school are like this in the middle of the night. A woman's scream came from the hospital morgue in the middle of the night. Is this the distortion of human nature? Or, there were quite a few of them. But Wang Zhong saw that most of them were topics with exaggerated titles. Even so, this forum was quite popular. There were many comments under each topic. At this time, Wang Zhong noticed an interesting title. Tonight at 10 o'clock, gather at the unfinished building of the fence building. He clicked on it. It turned out that the fence building was an unfinished building that had been there for more than 10 years. For so many years, no one had been there. However, later, a homeless man saw a child's body there and called the police. When the police went there, they found the child's body. According to the investigation, the child got lost there and starved to death. However, for some reason, people said that a child would always be seen running around in the middle of the night. Over time, rumors of strange things spread there. It's here. After reading the message, Wang Zhong contacted the person who posted the message. The two chatted on the app for a while and found out that there were a total of 9 people going there this time. Including Wang Zhong, there were 10 people. This group of people came to explore strange places like this. They didn't have any purpose other than to find it exciting. The organizer added Wang Zhong to their group. There were a total of 10 people, and the group leader was a man with the nickname Tough Guy. A few people were surprised by Wang Zhong's nickname, so someone tagged Wang Zhong and asked if he was really a professional in solving all kinds of strange things. Wang Zhong, of course, said that he was serious. This caused a lot of teasing in the group. Everyone thought that Wang Zhong was joking. After confirming the time, Wang Zhong took a taxi and went to his father-in-law's house. He had no choice. If he wanted to become an adult, he first had to make Li Zhi's soul listen to him. In other words, he had to restore Tang Xue's intelligence. Therefore, he still had to keep in touch with the Tang family to find some clues. On the way there, Wang Zhong bought some supplements. When he arrived home, he found that his parents-in-law had gone out. His sister-in-law, Tang Yaqing, had already gone to work. Only the maid and Tang Yu were at home. "Mr. Li, you're back." The maid opened the door, but the security door was not opened. She pointed upstairs and said, "I just fed Miss Tangya. She's looking at Big Head's son and Little Head's father." Wang Zhong said, "Yes, I'm here to see her." Well, the maid was embarrassed. "What's wrong?" "Mr. Tang, I told Miss Tang Yaqing not to let you in when you come back." "What?" Wang Zhong gawked for a moment before a sudden realization dawned upon him. The original owner owed so much money. The Tang family was probably worried that someone would cause trouble for them. It was reasonable that they did not let him in. "Sister Lan, can I talk to Tang Xue for a while? I brought some supplements and a carton of milk for you," Wang Zhong said sincerely. Sister Lan was an honest person. Although she used to hate Wang Zhong, now that she saw Wang Zhong being chased out, she felt that he was quite pitiful. Therefore, she said, "Then you can only come in for a while. Leave after a while." "Thank you, Sister Lan." After entering the house and putting away the gifts, Wang Zhong went upstairs. Su Jie naturally followed him. She floated behind Wang Zhong curiously and looked around. "Master, is this where you married into the family?" "Strictly speaking, it's Li Zhi, not me." Yes. You used to be just like me, a lonely soul," Su Jie said softly. Arriving at the familiar room, Big Head's son and Small Head's father were talking about cartoons. "Dad, why is your head small? Why is my head as big as Uncle Wang's head next door?" Big Head's son asked innocently. "Son, everyone looks different. It's normal." "Oh, Mom went to Uncle Wang's house to borrow soy sauce. Why isn't she back yet?" Wang Zhong didn't care about what the cartoon said. On the contrary, Su Jie couldn't wait to enter the room. When she saw Tangya sitting on the edge of the bed, she was stunned. So beautiful. Of course she was beautiful. After all, Tangya was the campus belle. How could she not be beautiful? "Hubby." Tangya saw the door open and turned her head with a smile. She was still drooling. She giggled and said, "Where did you go?" "I went to work." "Work?" Tanya tilted her head. The word work was unfamiliar to her. Wang Zhong said, "Yes, I went to work. I want to cure your illness." His voice was so gentle that Tanya was a little dazed. "Hubby, you seem to be different from before. Stay at home and be a good girl, okay?" "Okay." Tanya nodded. "I have to be a good girl." "Yes, you have to be a good girl." "Tanya, let me ask you again. Who is the person you are most afraid of?" On the way here, Wang Zhong thought about it. The person who caused Tanya to become like this must have a conflict with Tanya. Although Tanya was crazy, he might be able to find some useful information from the person she was most afraid of. Chapter 492. Tanya tilted her head and looked at Wang Zhong with some fear. "I'm most afraid of you," Wang Zhong said. "Other than me, think about it. Who would want to harm you? They're all bad people." "Bad people?" Tanya frowned. "Bad people. They want to harm me. It's the bad people who made me like this." "Yes, who is it?" My head is in a mess." Tanya covered her head and suddenly cried. "Don't cry. Don't think about it if you can't think of it." Seeing Tanya like this, Wang Zhong sighed softly and comforted her. After a while, Tanya gradually stopped crying and fell asleep. After placing Tanya down properly, Wang Zhong left the place. "Sister Lan, Tanya is asleep. I'll have to trouble you to take care of her these days. Call me if anything happens," Wang Zhong said softly. Sister Lan nodded and said, "Then you're not coming back?" "I won't be coming back for a while. I have something important to do." After leaving, Wang Zhong went home to rest. At around 9 in the evening, Wang Zhong called a taxi and headed to his destination. The driver looked at Wang Zhong through the rearview mirror and asked curiously, "Young man, why are you going to such a remote place in the middle of the night?" "I'm having fun with my friends." "Fun? What are they doing in such a remote place?" The driver rolled his eyes and had an idea in his heart. "How many men and women are there? It must be very exciting, right? Do you think I can join? How much is it?" Wang Zhong was speechless. Su Jie, who was sitting beside him, was even more speechless. "Scumbag," Su Jie said fiercely. Luckily, Wang Zhong was watching from the side, so Su Jie didn't do anything out of line. "Uncle, it's not what you think." Wang Zhong was speechless. "Isn't that place haunted? Let's go take a look and explore." "Is that so?" The driver lost interest instantly. These days, little brats don't date properly and do these useless things. After getting out of the car, the driver left without saying anything. Surrounded by the wilderness, there was only a lonely building in front of him. The building was already 6 stories high, but because the developer had run away, this place had become an unfinished building. Wang Zhong walked to the bottom of the building and contacted Tough Guy. What surprised him was that the group leader had been waiting for a long time. Wang Zhong turned on the flashlight and walked in. After entering a room without a door, a strong man walked over. "Group leader?" Wang Zhong scanned the room. There was only a man and a woman. The man nodded. "My name is Lu Jian." "My name is Li Jia," Wang Zhong replied. "Where are the others?" The others went in first. "My name is Chun Yin," said a girl who looked to be in her 20s. The two of them were fully equipped, with searchlights on their heads and camouflage uniforms. They were surprised to see Wang Zhong in ordinary clothes. "Li Jia, you didn't prepare anything before coming here?" Lu Jian asked curiously. "Do I need a lot of preparation?" "Of course, I heard that many people have died in this place." Chun Yin came over and whispered, "It's late at night. Not only are there children crying, but there are also screams." "Really?" Wang Zhong was excited when he heard that. If that's the case, then that's great. Lu Jian and Chun Yin looked at each other strangely. They wanted to scare Wang Zhong, but they didn't expect him to be excited. "Of course it's true. Brother, I know you must be a fan of strange things, but this is not a joke. Look at us. Talismans, crosses, chicken blood and duck blood are all prepared." "I don't think you've prepared anything," Lu Jian said. "Yeah, I think your nickname is a professional solving all kinds of strange things. Why didn't you prepare in advance? Do you think this is a joke?" Chun Yin said again. Wang Zhong said embarrassedly. I usually solve these strange things through persuasion. Fighting is secondary. Persuasion? Chen Yun snorted and laughed. First time I've heard of that. Then let's go in first. Lu Jian didn't laugh at Wang Zhong. But in his heart, he thought that Wang Zhong was the kind of person who was obsessed with strange things. He must be a young man who watched a lot of ghost romance movies. This kind of person had a weird way of thinking, so he wasn't surprised by Wang Zhong's words. Lu Jian walked in front and shone the light over. There are 2 tall buildings here. The others came early and have seen everything. They went to the building in front. Let's walk around here first. Lija, what do you think? Wang Zhong didn't have any objections. He nodded slightly and said, as long as we can meet something dirty, it's fine. Su Jia, who was floating next to them, was unhappy. I'm not dirty, scumbag. Wang Zhong sighed. I know. Chen Yun and Lu Jian were taken aback by his sudden words. Brother, who are you talking to? Lu Jian asked, confused. Oh, it's nothing. Let's go. He was so focused on talking to Su Jia that he didn't consider the feelings of the people around him. As they were talking, the 3 of them arrived at the 2nd floor. They saw a person hanging from the ceiling in the first room on the 2nd floor. There's someone here, Chen Yun said with a trembling voice. Don't be nervous. It's just a dummy. Wang Zhong directly walked over to him. The person hanging in front of them had his back facing them. Because they couldn't see his face, he really looked like a corpse. He took the dummy down and walked over. The dummy's face was stuffed with a ball of cotton. This thing was placed here to scare people. It's really a dummy. Aren't you afraid? Chen Yun walked over and asked. Didn't I say that I'm a professional? Wang Zhong felt that he should print some business cards when he went back. Otherwise, everyone would think that he was fooling around. Okay. Chen Yun seemed a little disappointed. She turned around and exclaimed, Hey, where's Lu Jian? Originally, Lu Jian was walking at the front of the group, but he fell behind when they were walking up the stairs. In the blink of an eye, Lu Jian disappeared. Is there something wrong with these 2 people? Su Jia floated at the side and said, Lu Jian is in the 3rd room in front. He put a broken doll and smeared red ink on his body. What are they trying to do? Wang Zhong laughed when he heard that. First it was a dummy. Now it was a corpse. Looking at how familiar these 2 people were, it was obvious that they wanted to scare him. Wang Zhong immediately understood that this exploration was fake. Their real purpose was to scare him. He scanned the room. As expected, he found a hidden camera on the wall. It was probably used to secretly record him when he made a fool of himself. Perhaps, the so-called haunting in the past was also done by these people. Huff, huff, huff. At this time, the sound of wind came from the corridor in front. Lija, what's going on in front? Could it be something dirty? Chen Yun cooperated and pretended to be scared. Wang Zhong turned his head and said coldly, Shusha. There really is something dirty in this place. Look behind you. Chen Yun's heart skipped a beat. This time, she and her friends were indeed planning to scare people. They would make a video and upload it online. She thought that she could successfully scare Wang Zhong into pissing his pants. She did not expect him to say that at this time. She did not remember such a plot. Patter. A hand landed on Chen Yun's shoulder. Miss, you're so beautiful. Ah. Chen Yun was so scared that she ran down the stairs. The person who spoke was naturally Su Jia. These people deliberately wanted to mess with Wang Zhong. Since that was the case, she would give them a taste of their own medicine. Chen Yun was scared away. Lu Jian, who wanted to scare Wang Zhong, quickly came out of the room. He held the walkie-talkie and shouted, Come over. I don't know what happened to Chen Yun, but she was scared away. As he spoke, he walked to Wang Zhong and frowned. Friend, I'm sorry. We are from the nearby Nankai University. Tonight, we are actually making a short video about strange things. You have made 2 mistakes. Wang Zhong raised 2 fingers. First, you shouldn't have lied to me. Second, you shouldn't have come here. I'm sorry. We are just making a short video. In the front room, 7 people who looked like students came out one after another. These people were holding all kinds of filming equipment and scaring props in their hands. Wang Zhong did not know whether to laugh or cry. He really wanted to get angry, But when he saw this group of people apologizing, he could not get angry. If you want to film, you can do it yourself, or go to a safer place. This place is in the wilderness. It's easy to get into trouble. Wang Zhong began to educate them. The attitude of the few students was very sincere. They were all dejected and looked defeated. I'm really sorry. Actually, we also want to film more realistic. That's why we came here. One of the students apologized. Let's not talk about this first. Chun Yin saw something just now, and was so scared that she ran down the stairs. Wang Zhong reminded them. Only then did the students react. They quickly went downstairs to look for her. Wang Zhong, on the other hand, noticed that something was wrong downstairs. Discovered spiritual body Zhou Xiaoming. Age 8. Lifespan 56. 134 rage points. Spiritual body state, starved to death. He is very mischievous here. He hopes that others will starve to death too. Even though the students said so many scary stories to scare Wang Zhong, most of them were real. They were all legends from the nearby area. For example, this Zhou Xiaoming was a little boy who went missing here, starved to death. Wang Zhong naturally came to this conclusion. According to his senses, this little boy was at another staircase. Now that he could detect Yin's spirits from a much longer distance, he walked straight in that direction. As he walked forward, more information about spirit bodies appeared in front of him. Spiritual body state, discovered Chun Yin. Is teasing her. Determination. Has teased too many people, causing a wanderer to fall to his death. Suggestion, imprison him. Wang Zhong took a deep breath. This was the first spiritual body he wanted to imprison, and it was not weak. Wang Zhong was getting closer and closer. He walked up the stairs, and was about to go downstairs. However, after turning a corner, he realized that there was another staircase below. Breaking through walls? Wang Zhong knew that once a spiritual body reached a certain level of strength, it would gain different abilities. Breaking through walls was one of them. Chapter 493. The so-called wall breaking was actually just walking around in circles in a certain place. Wang Zhong didn't walk any further. He opened his judgment eye, and in an instant, the wall breaking was broken. There was no one in front of him, but footsteps could be heard from upstairs. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. This was the sound of a child playing happily, followed by the harsh sound of metal rubbing against each other. Uncle, what are you doing? Wang Zhong sighed and said, Are you a naughty child? Can you not make such an unpleasant sound? Uncle, is this sound unpleasant? I used to scratch other people's cars, and this was the sound. It was so nice. Sure enough, he was a naughty child. He actually liked to scratch private cars when he was alive. At the same time, the scene before Zhou Xiaoming's death appeared in front of Wang Zhong. At that time, there were many homeless people living here. Zhou Xiaoming, the naughty child, was holding a lighter and a bottle of alcohol. While the homeless people were sleeping, he secretly lit these people's quilts. Such a move, of course, attracted the attention of the homeless people. Two homeless people picked up the bamboo and wanted to hit Zhou Xiaoming. Zhou Xiaoming panicked and ran to the open space around the building. He accidentally fell. When he woke up, his head was already dizzy. He didn't know where to go. He walked to the building in a daze, but couldn't find the way back. So he starved to death and died of thirst here. Zhou Xiaoming's voice slowly came from the corner of the stairs. But what was surprising was that Zhou Xiaoming's head was nowhere to be seen. In other words, a headless little boy walked toward Wang Zhong. As he walked, he asked curiously, Uncle, have you seen my ball? See your sister. You've already become a spirit body, and you still want to find a ball to play with? Wang Zhong understood that this naughty child was deliberately trying to scare him. But was he so easily scared? Su Jie also appeared at this time. She frowned and said, The spirit body is quite strong. Are you confident? He's just an immature brat. No problem. Just as Wang Zhong finished speaking, perhaps the naughty kid felt Wang Zhong's disdain, because a head suddenly rolled down the stairs and stopped at Wang Zhong's feet. Uncle, look at me, hee hee hee. Poochie. In the next moment, Wang Zhong stepped on the man's head. Oh, Zhou Xiaoming was shocked and shouted angrily. Wang Zhong said coldly, trying to act mysterious at such a young age, What will happen in the future? I'm going to eat you, eat you. Zhou Xiaoming's body pounced over. This Zhou Xiaoming was indeed full of yin qi. As he spoke, his entire body exuded black qi, filling the entire floor. Ho ho ho, Zhou Xiaoming smiled and said, "You'll be trapped here forever, forever and ever." Whoosh! The head under Wang Zhong's feet rolled back to his side, and the little boy returned to his previous appearance. Wang Zhong didn't say anything, but the judgment eye in his palm opened. A suction force came from his palm. The surrounding yin qi frantically drilled into it. Ah! What's going on? What's going on? Zhou Xiaoming turned pale with fright, but his body couldn't stop moving closer to Wang Zhong. This was the power of the judgment eye. As long as the rage points weren't too high, the judgment eye could capture any soul. Who are you? Zhou Xiaoming screamed. I am an emissary of the netherworld. According to the laws of the netherworld, you have committed many evil deeds, and should be imprisoned. Stop resisting and come in obediently. No, I'm still a child. Your parents didn't educate you well in the past, so you'll have to pay for it yourself. Wang Zhong's voice was emotionless. I'm still a child, still a child. Although Zhou Xiaoming screamed, he was still captured by the judgment eye. Your first imprisonment is a success. You've successfully obtained the great mighty heavenly dragon of the netherworld. Hearing the notification from the judgment eye, Wang Zhong was stunned. He didn't expect to receive a reward for his first service. A cultivation technique appeared in the judgment eye. This cultivation technique didn't have a physical body, but was an object formed by soul power. This soul power instantly turned into a stream of light and drilled into Wang Zhong's head. In an instant, the great mighty heavenly dragon of the netherworld was absorbed by Wang Zhong. Great mighty heavenly dragon, revered Ksitigarbha, Prajna Buddhas Prajna Bamakong. This was the incantation of the great mighty heavenly dragon of the netherworld. Once used, its power was limitless. Wang Zhong wasn't surprised by Willie's ability. He was a cultivator himself, and he was well aware of the importance of this ability. When he went down the stairs, he found the unconscious Chun Yun at the side of the stairs. Wang Zhong patted her face. Ah, save me, save me. Chun Yun suddenly opened her eyes and screamed. Fortunately, when she saw Wang Zhong in front of her, Chun Yun immediately rushed over and cried, Whoa, I saw something dirty. Chun Yun, are you okay? You scared me to death. What happened? Hearing this, the rest of the students rushed over. Then Chun Yun explained. After hearing Chun Yun's words, the students' faces changed. Lija, you saw that thing too? Lu Jian asked anxiously. Wang Zhong didn't hide it. He only nodded slightly and said, Yes, but don't worry, I've already taken care of it. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and felt a lingering fear in their hearts. If they encountered such a situation, what would they do? Of course, there were some who believed and some who didn't. They thought that Chun Yun saw wrongly, and that Wang Zhong was deliberately scaring them. As for what they thought, it was all up to them. For the next few days, Wang Zhong did business near his home. His soul power increased day by day, and his cultivation of the great mighty heavenly dragon was also improving day by day. During this period, his sister-in-law called once. After knowing that Wang Zhong had settled the debt problem, she was so shocked that her jaw almost fell to the ground. She carefully asked Wang Zhong how he did it, but Wang Zhong didn't say it clearly. He couldn't possibly say that he won it back, right? Therefore, Wang Zhong didn't say much. He told his sister-in-law to take good care of his wife, and that he would visit her when he was free. After that, Wang Zhong hung up the phone. That night, after Wang Zhong gave himself a bath, he was about to go out for business, when Su Jia floated to his side. Holding Wang Zhong's phone, she said, Master, someone is contacting you. Wang Zhong took the phone and looked at it. It was a message from a student he met at the unfinished building a few days ago. The person who sent the message was called Tian Shujiang. He was Lu Jian and Chun Yun's classmate. Tian Shujiang, Master Lija, please help us. We're in trouble. A business call? Wang Zhong hurriedly replied, What's the matter? I'll drive over to pick you up. Wang Zhong sent him the message. Half an hour later, Tian Shujiang drove to the residential area downstairs. Wang Zhong went downstairs and found that other than Tian Shujiang, There were a few other friends who came with him. Master. Tian Shujiang looked quite anxious. He walked over and said, Lu Jian. Lu Jian is dead. Lu Jian was the organizer of the last trip to the unfinished building. He was also their group leader. He had a good relationship with Chen Yun. He was quite a sunny boy. Wang Zhong had a deep impression of him. What's going on? Wang Zhong asked. Since these people had found him, it meant that what they encountered was probably related to the mysterious phenomenon. Let's get in the car first. After getting in the car, Tian Shuguang began to talk. It turned out that after returning from the unfinished building that day, they went to a food stall to eat together. During the meal, they talked about how to shoot the video. Initially, they planned to find a place to shoot a fake video that they could act in. However, at this moment, they saw a boy sitting at the neighboring table. Everyone knew this boy. His name was Yi Xiaotian. He was very good in his studies, but he was more introverted and always kept to himself. When Yi Xiaotian was eating, he would always secretly stare at Chen Yin, which attracted a lot of attention. Hence, they whispered that Yi Xiaotian was interested in Chen Yin. This guy usually looked quite decent, but he was actually very flirtatious. However, Chen Yin did not take it to heart. She even flipped her hair confidently. There were too many people like Yi Xiaotian who secretly stared at her. It couldn't be helped. After all, she was good-looking. Every time she walked on the streets, she would attract a lot of attention. However, Chen Yun's friends began to come up with ideas. They said that they should film a horror film that made fun of Yi Xiaotian. Lu Jian had even thought of the plot. That was, Chen Yun would take the initiative to get to know Yi Xiaotian. They would then meet Yi Xiaotian in the woods outside the school tomorrow night. After that, they would suddenly appear and scare Yi Xiaotian. Chen Yun did not want to do that at first, but she could not resist the coaxing and pestering of her friends. Hence she agreed, thinking that she would at most treat Yi Xiaotian to a meal as an apology. Hence, Chen Yun took the initiative to strike up a conversation with him. Yi Xiaotian was shocked by Chen Yun's initiative and blushed immediately. After that, the other students found an excuse to leave, leaving Chen Yun and Yi Xiaotian to walk back to school. The next day, Chen Yun told Yi Xiaotian to meet at the woods outside the school at 9 o'clock in the evening according to the plan. Yi Xiaotian was very happy at that time, and even said that he had a gift for Chen Yun. That night, Lu Jian and the rest prepared a lot of tricks in the woods. Chen Yun felt that it was not appropriate to do that, but her friends had already prepared everything, so she could only remain silent. Yi Xiaotian finally arrived. Just as they had planned, when Chen Yun turned around, she was wearing a scary bloody mask, which gave Yi Xiaotian a great shock. Then, the ghosts that his classmates played as appeared one by one. Yi Xiaotian was so scared that he wet himself. Unsurprisingly, all these were filmed. What has this got to do with Lu Jian's death? Wang Zhong was puzzled. A girl sitting at the side said in horror. But after we went back, we heard that Yi Xiaotian had already died that night. Yes, he died in a car accident. That night, we were prepared to scare Yi Xiaotian. So we stayed in the woods the whole time, and did not know what happened outside. After we went back, we found out that Yi Xiaotian had already met with a car accident when he rushed to the woods. He had already died. Chapter 494. So you guys took a video with a spirit? Asked Wang Zhong calmly. Yeah, we didn't expect this to happen either. Tian Shujiang was a little depressed as he drove. He couldn't help but speed up. Then how did Lu Jian die? It was also a car accident. Most importantly, we can confirm that Yi Xiaotian was the one who caused his death. Tian Shujiang continued. It turned out that this group of people panicked when they found out that an otherworldly item had taken a video for a whole night. After all, Yi Xiaotian had gotten into a car accident because of their pranks. That day, Lu Jian started to feel unwell. He seemed to be running a high fever. He went out to buy some medicine. When he passed by the road, he was suddenly pushed by someone while waiting for a red light. Just like that, a speeding van hit him and sent him flying. Lu Jian's head hit the ground hard, but he didn't die. Lu Jian's classmates hurried over. In the end, Lu Jian just said, "Someone pushed me." Just like that, Lu Jian died without knowing why. It must be Yi Xiaotian. We pranked him, so he came to take revenge. A student in the front passenger seat suddenly cried. Tian Shujiang said, Big brother Lija, Chunyin is sick now. She's very sick, almost like Lu Jian before he died. I'm worried that Yi Xiaotian is the one who made her sick. Got it. Let's go to Chunyin's place. After listening to these people, Wang Zhong also felt that this matter might have something to do with Yi Xiaotian. However, when he thought about it carefully, he realized that Yi Xiaotian hadn't been dead for long. How could he have the ability to harm people under the sun so soon? It wasn't that this kind of situation had never happened before, but it required a lot of rage points. Soon they arrived at Chunyin's house. Chunyin's family was well-to-do. They lived in a big villa. According to her classmates, her parents were the CEOs of a big company. She was a typical beauty. Chunyin was obviously very sick. A doctor came to her house, and her parents stayed to take care of her. Seeing that Chunyin's classmates had come to visit, her parents were very polite. They quickly welcomed Wang Zhong and the others in. As soon as Wang Zhong entered the house, he sensed a spirit in Chunyin's room upstairs. Discovered spirit Yi Xiaotian. Age 21. Lifespan 73. Rage 132. Spirit body state. Observe Chunyin. As expected, he was at Chunyin's house. Wang Zhong was about to go upstairs when Chunyin's father, Chen Deshang, said, Everyone, I'm really grateful that you've come to visit our Xiao Yin. However, the doctor just said that she needs to rest well. Mr. Chen, it's like this, Wang Zhong said. Chunyin might not have a normal illness. Chen Deshang glanced at Wang Zhong and felt that Wang Zhong was obviously older than the students around him. He frowned and said, You are. Uncle Chen, this is Master Li Jia, Tian Shujiang quickly said. Master? Chen Deshang's frown deepened. We suspect that Xiao Yin isn't suffering from an ordinary illness, but she bumped into something dirty. Yes, that must be the case. One of our classmates named Lu Jian suddenly fell ill and died in a car accident. So we invited Master Li Jia. Tian Shujiang explained. Chen Deshang's frown deepened when he heard that. He was a person who believed in science. He didn't believe in such things. He didn't believe what his classmates said at all. His opinion of Wang Zhong was that Wang Zhong was a big swindler. Each and every one of you is a university student. How can you believe in such crooked practices? How can there be anything dirty in this world? Xiao Yin is just having a high fever. She's sick. Don't talk nonsense. Chen Deshang said to his classmates. He then looked at Wang Zhong and said, Mr. Li, you're already so old. Please find a stable job. Don't swindle people. Otherwise, I'll consider calling the police. Uncle Chen, it's true. That day at the unfinished building, Tian Shujiang was about to explain when Chen Deshang cut him off. Don't say any more. I have to prepare some fever medicine for little Yin. I welcome you guys to visit her, but don't blame me for being impolite if you talk nonsense and insist on bringing in some dirty things. At this time, Chen Yun's mother, Suli, came down. She frowned when she heard her husband's words. Lower your voice. Our daughter just fell asleep. Tian Shujiang and the rest were helpless. The owner didn't want them to go up, so they couldn't force their way in. Chen Deshang said to Wang Zhong, You're not my daughter's classmate. Please leave. Wang Zhong was also helpless. He thought to himself, if it wasn't for business, do you think I wanted to come? But it was obvious that the other party didn't want him to go up. To avoid trouble, he could only say, All right then. Since Mr. Chen doesn't believe me, then forget it. But no matter what, your daughter's life is important. This is my name card. Wang Zhong handed over a name card. On it was written, Lija, professional in dealing with all kinds of strange things. Free. The two words free were especially eye-catching. He had asked the copy shop to make this name card. Sometimes giving out name cards could expand the business. It was very good. When Chen Deshang saw the word free, he sneered in his heart. As a businessman, of course, he knew this kind of trick. It was said that it was free, but when the time came and he really invited them, they would say that the labor cost was indeed free, but they would need to pay for the materials, the religious fees, and all sorts of other expenses. Therefore, he didn't even think of taking the name card. He pretended not to see it. Wang Zhong could only put the name card on the table. He thought for a while and continued. Oh right, this name card has a talisman of mine. If you run into trouble, remember to use this name card. Before he could finish, Chen Deshang said disdainfully. You're really something, aren't you? You're talking about a stupid name card like it's a treasure. Butler, see the guest out. An elderly butler walked over. Seeing this, Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly and left. Brother Li Jie, Tian Shujiang, and the rest looked at him reluctantly. Wang Zhong said, I'll be leaving first. As soon as he walked out, Su Jie, who was hiding in the eyes of the judges, said angrily, That person is too arrogant. He doesn't trust you. That's normal. If I wasn't an emissary of hell in the past, I probably wouldn't have trusted someone who pretends to be mysterious. I can only say that you're good to talk to, master. Su Jie muttered. After leaving, Wang Zhong hailed a taxi back. On the way back, he received a call from his sister-in-law. Hello, Li Jie. I'm in my shop with my sister right now. Bring your household register and go get a divorce certificate with my sister. Tang Yaqing's job was in the beauty salon, the formal kind. She usually worked in the salon, and Wang Zhong knew that place. Divorce. Wang Zhong had thought that the Tang family wouldn't talk about divorce anymore, since he had already paid off his gambling debts. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. Just as he was about to speak, Wang Zhong suddenly fell into a trance. It was as though a voice in the depths of his heart was screaming, Divorce? Impossible, impossible. I love Tangya, I love her. In a trance, Wang Zhong had no choice but to sit on the side of the road to rest. Wang Zhong's expression was solemn. He knew that this situation wasn't because of him. It was because the original owner of this body was still trying to regain control. You're so insensible. Wang Zhong snorted coldly. His soul power trembled, suppressing the power that belonged to Li Jie. After that, Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. He felt that he could control this body very well. If I don't get rid of this Li Jie, it'll be really troublesome. Wang Zhong muttered. Hey Li Jie, why aren't you saying anything? Tang Yaqing said angrily. That. I've already paid off my debts. There's no need for a divorce, right? Wang Zhong replied. Anyway, ouch. Just then, Tang Yaqing seemed to have encountered something. She said anxiously, Sister, don't hit me. Ouch. The call was hung up. Wang Zhong realized that something was wrong with Tang Yaqing. He immediately called for a taxi. At the entrance of beauty salon, a middle-aged woman grabbed Tang Yaqing's clothes and shouted, Look at how your sister scratched my face. I'm disfigured now. No, you have to pay for it. I'm sorry, Miss Jiang. We really didn't do it on purpose. Tang Yaqing lowered her head and didn't know what to do. When she called Wang Zhong earlier, her sister, Tang Yaqing, suddenly rushed in front of this woman and scratched her face. She didn't know what happened. Sister Jiang was also the kind of person who was difficult to talk to. Every time she came, she would say that she knew a boss or a leader. Just now, she threatened that she had called a big brother and had to pay for it. In fact, Tang Yaqing didn't have a problem with paying for it. But Jiang Lily directly said that she had to pay more than 1,000,000 yuan. Her reason was that she was a beauty. What would she do in the future if her face was disfigured? So most of the money was for mental damage. Of course, Tang Yaqing didn't agree to pay so much money. So, she said that she could go to court. Jiang Lily thought that Tang Yaqing was deliberately making things difficult for her. So, the two of them ended up like this. If this continued, it would have a big impact on her shop's business. If it got worse, her old customers wouldn't come in during this period. Tang Yaqing, I've spent a lot of money here. I've always treated you as a good sister. Now that I've been beaten up like this, you have to take responsibility. 1,000,000 yuan, not a cent less. But this money is too much. Too much. My face is priceless. Do you know that? If you don't want to pay for it, I don't think it's necessary for you to open this beauty salon anymore. Jiang Lily was very domineering. Tang Yaqing pointed at Jiang Lily and said submissively, Bad person. Look at your sister. She's so stupid and still brought her out. Pooh. Jiang Lily scolded angrily. Sister Jiang, my sister's brain is not very good, But you don't have to say that, right? Tang Yacheng argued. Bad? Pay for it if you dare. Bad person. Tang Yacheng came over and scolded again. Stop talking. Jiang Lily was furious. She rushed up and was about to slap her. Tanya was so shocked that she closed her eyes subconsciously. But at this time, a strong hand firmly grasped Jiang Lily's hand. Chapter 495. Everyone looked over, and Tang Yacheng was surprised. The person who stopped Jiang Lily was none other than Wang Zhong, whom they had always looked down upon. Lija. Tang Yacheng was stunned. A wave of pretentiousness hit her in the face. At this moment, Wang Zhong was so domineering, so cool in her eyes. Was this still the same timid and yes-man Lija from before? Yes, it must be. Tang Yacheng shook her head secretly. How could she have a good impression of Lija? It must be an illusion. Tanya was so scared that she closed her eyes. However, the slap that she expected didn't come. She looked up and saw Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong opened his mouth and said to Jiang Lily, Miss, hitting people won't solve the problem. Who are you? Jiang Lily shouted as she shook off Wang Zhong's hand. I'm Tanya's husband. Ah, you're this fool's husband. Jiang Lily's eyes were filled with disdain. Marrying a fool as your wife. It seems like you're a fool too. Wang Zhong didn't care about Jiang Lily's insults. Instead, he said, calm down. If there's anything, we can sit down and talk about it slowly. It won't look good if you get chopped in public. If someone gossips about it online, it will damage your image. What do you think? Tang Yacheng secretly gave Wang Zhong a thumbs up in her heart. She looked at Wang Zhong, who was standing in front of her, and admired him. She didn't expect him to say something so reasonable after not seeing him for a few days. Sure enough, after Jiang Lily heard Wang Zhong's words, she looked at the crowd with fear. She realized that many people were taking pictures of them with their phones. Jiang Lily snorted and pointed at Wang Zhong. Okay, I'll go in and talk with you. But I'll say it first. 1 million yuan compensation, no less. Tang Yacheng breathed a sigh of relief. It was good to go in for the time being. Otherwise, it would be bad for her business in the future. Tang Yacheng asked the staff to take care of Tanya, and then led Jiang Lily into the office. Jiang Lily sat on the sofa arrogantly and said, I know you don't agree, but it's okay. My boyfriend will be here soon. By then, you'll have to compensate me even if you don't want to. It seemed like he had called for help. To be honest, Wang Zhong also felt that it was a little tricky to deal with this kind of situation. After all, this was the modern world. He couldn't kill people just because he didn't like them, right? After thinking about it, Wang Zhong thought that if Jiang Lily really called people to make trouble, he could only call the police. If the police were useless, he could only ask Ren Biao to help. Since Ren Biao witnessed Wang Zhong's power in the casino last time, he often called Wang Zhong to invite him to dinner, but Wang Zhong declined. This time, he asked Ren Biao to help, so he thought he wouldn't refuse. While she was thinking, Tang Yacheng sighed and said, Sister Jiang, if you really can't do it, let's go to the hospital first. If you're fine, we'll pay you a few thousand yuan for the mental damage. Before he could finish, Jiang Lily slammed the table and shouted, A few thousand? Haha, are you trying to fool a child? You think I haven't seen this kind of money, right? But this, Jiang Lily interrupted Tang Yacheng again. She waved her hand and said, Don't be long-winded. My boyfriend is here. The door was pushed open, and a girl said anxiously, Yacheng, there are a lot of hooligans outside. It was clear that they were here to cause trouble. Wang Zhong could only take out his phone and prepare to call Ren Biao. To be honest, Wang Zhong didn't want to have too much contact with people like Ren Biao, but when it came to this kind of thing, a refined person would really suffer a big loss. Jiang Lily said arrogantly, Humph, my boyfriend is here. You guys wait and see. Then Jiang Lily walked out. Hubby woo, I'm being bullied. Which blind person dares to bully my wife? His voice was loud and clear, and it was as powerful as thunder. Just hearing this voice made Tang Yacheng's heart sink to the bottom. It's over, it's over. He's here to make trouble. How am I going to do business in the future? Hubby, look at my face. It's disfigured. Yes, I saw it. You must pay for it. This voice made Wang Zhong raise his eyebrows. He didn't expect that the person who came was someone he knew. It was Ren Biao who he wanted to call. This made Wang Zhong laugh involuntarily. He looked at Ren Biao who walked in and thought to himself, "This world is really small." Ren Biao was also stunned. He didn't expect it to be someone he knew. "Hubby, it's this family. The one who hit me is called Tangya. She's a fool." "Oh right, this man is that fool's wife." Jiang Lily pointed at Wang Zhong and said, "What? The master's wife is a fool?" Although Ren Biao was very surprised, he was a smart person. After looking at the situation in front of him, he immediately coughed to hide his embarrassment. Tang Yaqing was very anxious at this time. She recognized Ren Biao. This guy was quite famous in the city. On the surface, he was some entrepreneur. But everyone knew that he started from the gray industry. It was really difficult to deal with this kind of person. She thought about calling the police. But if she called the police, she was afraid that he would take revenge. Just when she was in a terrible situation, she didn't expect Ren Biao to walk over. Big brother." Tang Yaqing's voice was trembling. Ren Biao just nodded at her slightly, and then ignored her. Then he came in front of Wang Zhong. "Mr. Li." Tang Yaqing was stunned. This big brother was actually so polite to Li Jie? Wang Zhong said, "Boss Run, I didn't expect such a coincidence." "Ha ha, yes, what a coincidence." Ren Biao laughed a few times. "My wife has some problems with her brain. She accidentally hit your girlfriend. It's my fault. I didn't take care of her." Wang Zhong didn't mince his words. Ren Biao quickly waved his hand. "Mr. Li, you're too serious. Actually, it's just a small injury. It'll be fine in a few days." "Hubby." Jiang Lily was stunned. She wanted Ren Biao to support her. But he was actually so polite to the other party. "Lily." Ren Biao's eyes became serious. "This is Mr. Li, my close friend. I see that you're fine. You'll be fine after resting at home for a few days." But, seeing that Jiang Lily was not tactful, Ren Biao said seriously, "What? Are you disobedient?" "It's not that." Jiang Lily knew that Ren Biao had a bad temper. She quickly lowered her proud head and said dejectedly, "Since he's your friend, then let's forget about it. Well, you can go out and wait in my car." Ren Biao quickly took out a cigarette and gave it to Wang Zhong. This scene made Tang Yaqing even more stunned. Ren Biao actually took the initiative to give Li Jie a cigarette. God, what was going on? Tang Yaqing suddenly felt that she didn't understand. Wang Zhong waved his hand and said, "I don't smoke. Boss Ren, let's forget about today's matter." Ren Biao quickly nodded. "Well, my girlfriend is not sensible. This is," Ren Biao pointed at Tang Yaqing. Wang Zhong replied, "She's my sister-in-law." "Oh, sister-in-law, nice to meet you. You open this place. Don't worry. I'll tell my mom in the club later and ask her to introduce some princesses to the beauty salon." Tang Yaqing smiled awkwardly and said, "Boss Ren, you're welcome." Of course. Mr. Li is my idol. If it wasn't for him, Seeing that Ren Biao was talking more and more nonsense, Wang Zhong quickly coughed and stopped Ren Biao from continuing. Ren Biao was a big boss. Naturally, he understood Wang Zhong's hint. Although it was strange, he didn't continue to speak. "Mr. Li, are you free later? I've been asking you to eat a few days ago, but you're not free. You must drink a few glasses today." Since the other party was so polite, Wang Zhong nodded and said, "Well, okay." "Well, Miss Tang, do you want to join us?" Tang Yaqing didn't like this kind of occasion. She could only wave her hand and say no. "Well, Mr. Li, I know a private restaurant. Let's have a few drinks together later. Also, I have a few questions to ask." "Okay, I'll contact you later." After sending Ren Biao off, Tang Yaqing directly closed the office door and looked at Wang Zhong suspiciously. "Is there a flower on my face?" Wang Zhong was a little uncomfortable being stared at. Tang Yaqing said, "There is no flower on your face, but there is in your stomach. Li Jie, I know very well what kind of person you are. Tell me honestly, what did you do to make Ren Biao be so polite to you? You didn't lie to him, did you? I'm telling you, that kind of person is not to be trifled with. Don't mess with him." Wang Zhong was speechless at his sister-in-law's worry, so he explained, "I helped him catch ghosts. Do you believe me?" I don't believe you. Sure enough, before he finished speaking, Tang Yaqing started to spit. Tell me the truth, Tang Yaqing said angrily. Wang Zhong shrugged. Since she didn't want to listen to the truth, then forget it. He thought for a moment and explained. Actually, I was lucky to save him. That time when he was crossing the road, he was about to be hit to death. Fortunately, I pulled him back. I see. Tang Yaqing nodded and said. You are his savior. No wonder he is so polite. No way she believed that. Wang Zhong covered his face helplessly. Sister, I want to pee. I want to pee. Tanya suddenly rushed in crying. While talking, Tanya couldn't control herself anymore and peed on her body. Wife you. Wang Zhong walked over, and Tang Yaqing hurriedly closed the door and tidied up Tang Yaqing. Tang Yaqing was very nimble. She quickly took out a rag, wet wipes, and went to the bathroom in the office to get hot water. It could be seen that Tang Yaqing had encountered this kind of thing many times. Thank you. Wang Zhong stood aside and said. Tang Yaqing didn't raise her head and said, Lija, did you take the wrong medicine? When I did these things before, didn't you say that I should do it? I'm no longer the Lija of the past. Wang Zhong sighed. Tang Yaqing didn't hear Wang Zhong's words and said, I know you want to change, but you know what? What you did before was too bad. So Mom and Dad said that they don't want to give you a chance. I have money now, I won't gamble in the future. Tang Yaqing didn't answer, but pointed under the desk and said, Go there and get my sister's clothes. Wang Zhong walked over, and found that there was a bag under the desk. There were a lot of underwear inside. Chapter 496. Wang Zhong was a little embarrassed. Which one should he choose? Lija, why aren't you here yet? Tang Yaqing shouted. Oh, I'm coming. Wang Zhong casually took a few. When he walked to the toilet, Tang Yaqing shouted. Oh, don't let my husband come in. Don't. Tang Yaqing said. Sister, don't worry. He won't come in. I'll change your clothes for you. Oh, sister, you're so nice. I'll put the clothes at the door. Wang Zhong left the door after putting the clothes down. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Tang Yaqing came out sweating. Sister wants to play with water for a while. Let her play first. While speaking, Tang Yaqing looked at her clothes and suddenly blushed. It turned out that when she was cleaning her sister's body in the bathroom, Tang Yaqing's body was inevitably soaked. The white shirt was now sticking to her skin, revealing the pink inside. Looking at Wang Zhong, she found that Wang Zhong was also looking at her. Tang Yaqing immediately said unhappily, What are you looking at? Oh, nothing. Realizing that he was being impolite, Wang Zhong quickly turned back. Tang Yaqing was furious. This guy was still the same as before. He was a good-for-nothing. He even coveted his sister-in-law. Lija, it's my father's birthday 3 days later. Suddenly Tang Yaqing said. Birthday? Wang Zhong smiled. Tang Yaqing said that to him, which meant that she would not let him divorce Tang Yaqing for the time being. Got it. Thank you, Yaqing. There's nothing to thank. If you still can't change your habit, I will definitely let you divorce my sister. Well, don't worry. At this time, Wang Zhong looked particularly dignified. If there's nothing else, I'll go first. What are you going to do? Make money. Wang Zhong did not say much. When he walked to the door, he suddenly smiled and said, By the way, what do you like? What do you mean? Tang Yaqing frowned. Sister-in-law, you've worked so hard. I should buy you a gift. What do you like? When did this guy become so kind? Tang Yaqing was curious. In the past, when Lija saw her, he treated her like an enemy. But now he was actually so polite. She thought that Wang Zhong said it casually to please her. So she said coldly, I like famous watches, the kind that costs more than 10,000 yuan. Can you afford it? Understood. Wang Zhong didn't say much and left directly. When Wang Zhong frowned, Tang Yaqing closed the office door and mumbled, This Lija seems to have changed into a different person. But he's pretty lucky to have saved Ren Biao's life. Let's see how he performs from now on. If he's still the same as before, I'll definitely divorce him. In the afternoon, Wang Zhong went to the watch shop to buy a watch. Since he still had a lot of money, he should buy some gifts for his sister-in-law. After all, he took care of his wife so much. In order to complete the mission, He couldn't divorce his wife. Wang Zhong didn't know much about watches, but he knew that the expensive ones were definitely good. So, he bought a diamond-studded women's watch that cost more than 100,000 yuan. He thought that since it was his father-in-law's birthday, he should buy some gifts for him. Since he was already here, he bought a gold watch, which also cost more than 60,000 yuan. At first, the staff of this shop looked down on Wang Zhong. After all, Wang Zhong didn't dress well and didn't look like a rich person at all. But when Wang Zhong said that he would wrap these things up, the staff were stunned. This was a real nouveau riche. So they were all very enthusiastic. Even the manager came out personally and handed him his business card. He said that if he needed anything, he could call him on this private phone. He would provide one-on-one service, warm and considerate. After leaving the shop, Wang Zhong went home first. In the evening, he went to a private restaurant that he had agreed to meet Ren Biao. This restaurant wasn't in the middle of the riot. It was located in a residential house in the suburbs. These days, private restaurants were like this. Generally, private restaurants would only accept a few orders a day because they only had so many seats. Then, the guests would order the dishes, and the chef would prepare them. He would personally go to the market to buy the ingredients to ensure that the ingredients were absolutely fresh. Ren Biao had been waiting for a long time. When he saw Wang Zhong coming, he greeted him warmly. "Mr. Li, I'm looking forward to your arrival." Wang Zhong waved his hand and said, "Boss Ren, you don't have to be so polite in the future. The more you are like this, the more uncomfortable I feel. The next time you want to eat, I might not necessarily come." Ren Biao smiled and said, That's right. Wang Zhong glanced at the courtyard and found that there were many luxury cars parked there. He asked, "It seems that you have a lot of friends here." "Yes, we are all in the business world. The more friends we have, the more options we have. I'll introduce them to you, Mr. Li. Everyone is familiar with each other." Wang Zhong nodded slightly, thinking that this Ren Biao was quite smart. When they entered the largest private room in this private restaurant, there were already more than 10 people sitting inside. Most of them were around 40 years old. When they saw Wang Zhong coming in, most of them were very polite. These people had heard about Ren Biao. They respected a godly person like Wang Zhong from the bottom of their hearts. Naturally, one or two of them looked at Wang Zhong with suspicious looks on their faces. This kind of person was the same as Chen Deshang. They generally didn't believe in any supernatural beings. Therefore, not only were they suspicious of Wang Zhong, but they also felt that Wang Zhong was a liar who pretended to be mysterious. "Everyone, this is Master Li Jia. Although Mr. Li is still young, he is not ordinary. Previously, my underling, nicknamed Jiaopi, killed someone in my place. Even the investigation department couldn't do anything about it. Fortunately, Mr. Li helped." After everyone was seated, Ren Biao began to talk with assurance. "If it weren't for Mr. Li, a dangerous person like Jiaopi would have caused me a lot of trouble. Also, Mr. Li helped me deal with the otherworldly item in my office. Otherwise, not only would I have lost money, but my life would also have been in danger." After talking about Wang Zhong, Ren Biao introduced the guests at this table to Wang Zhong. Everyone present was a famous person. They were the CEOs of financial companies, the general managers of real estate companies, and the directors of some financial groups. Although the companies these people worked for were not the leading enterprises, at the very least, they had a net worth of at least tens of millions. "Mr. Li, I see that you are only in your early 20s. How can you know these spells at such a young age? How did you learn them?" asked the oldest man in the room. "I fell down. When I woke up, I could see something that you can't see." Wang Zhong didn't hide anything. "You can see them anywhere and any time?" A middle-aged man with a crew cut didn't believe him. "That's right." Wang Zhong nodded slightly. "So is there such a thing in the place where we are?" Wang Zhong smiled and looked behind him. There, an old man was standing behind the man with a crew cut. He had no expression on his face. Discovered spirit body, Chen Datong. Age 72. Lifespan 73. Rage points 38. Spirit body status. Shiji Xian peed on his tombstone. He is still angry at Shiji Xian. The old man raised his blackened hand and hammered away at the new implementation. Although the old man was weak and couldn't cause much harm to Shirji Xian, he would still give Shirji Xian a headache if he kept hitting him. Seeing Wang Zhong point behind him, Shirji Xian said disdainfully, "Mr. Li, are you saying that there is something dirty behind me?" Wang Zhong nodded. The people sitting next to Shirji Xian were frightened. They hurriedly moved aside. However, Shirji Xian wasn't afraid. Instead, he laughed. He was now even more certain that Wang Zhong was the kind of person who would pretend to be mysterious. After all, there was nothing wrong with him from beginning to end. If there was something dirty behind him, how could he not be affected? "Mr. Shi, you don't believe me?" asked Wang Zhong. "It's not that I don't believe you, but that it's unbelievable." For Ren Biao's sake, Shirji Xian spoke more tactfully. He continued, "If there is something dirty behind me, why is there nothing wrong with me? So, I think Mr. Li, you must have misjudged him." In other words, he was saying that you were talking nonsense. Ren Biao hurriedly said, "How could Mr. Li misjudge you? There must be something behind you." "Well then, where's the evidence?" "Then I can say that there is something dirty behind you, Mr. Li," said Shirji Xian immediately, his temper rising. Wang Zhong said calmly, "The evidence is very simple. Have you been having headaches recently?" Shirji Xian was bewildered. He did have headaches recently, but they had been with him for a long time. It was just that they had gotten worse recently. Thinking for a while, Shirji Xian said, "I have been having headaches recently, but they have always been there." Wang Zhong nodded. "Unfortunately, the headaches this time are because the otherworldly item is hitting your head. Let me ask you, did you pass by a graveyard a few days ago and pee on a tombstone? The place you peed on was the otherworldly item's tombstone. You peed on it, so it pestered you." Shirji Xian was stunned. A week ago, he had gone to the graveyard to pay respects to his parents. Suddenly he had to pee, so he peed casually. After he peed, he found a tombstone on the ground. However, he didn't take it seriously and spat out a mouthful of thick phlegm. After he went back, he felt that his headaches had gotten worse. He was the only one who knew about it. Now that Wang Zhong said it, Shirji Xian didn't doubt Wang Zhong anymore. "Master, you are really a master." Shirji Xian hurriedly stood up and raised his glass. "I'm sorry. I had eyes but couldn't see. I thought you were a liar. I'm really sorry. I'll punish myself with a glass." The people around changed their faces when they looked at Wang Zhong. Before, they had only suspected him, but now they believed him without a doubt. "Mr. Li, what should I do about this?" Shirji Xian was a little scared. He looked behind him and felt a chill. Wang Zhong looked at the old man and shouted, "You've been taking revenge for so many days. It's time to go." The old man glared at Wang Zhong fiercely. "Mind your own business. If you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being rude." Wang Zhong slammed the table, scaring Ren Biao and the others. Outsiders would find the scene of Wang Zhong talking to the air extremely strange. However, the people sitting here all knew that there was something dirty in that place. Chapter 497. Seeing Wang Zhong being so cruel, the old man's eyes flashed with fear. He snorted, "You only know how to bully an old man like me." The old man cursed, but he was smart enough to turn around and leave. After the old man left, Shi Jixin suddenly realized that his headache was much better. He was shocked by Wang Zhong. "My headache is much better now." "Of course. The otherworldly item has left," Wang Zhong said casually. "Mr. Li, thank you so much. Let's go to Earthly Paradise later. There are many university students there. My treat." The cost of that place was not low. Ren Biao and the others agreed. Wang Zhong was speechless. Didn't he open Earthly Paradise before? Their marketing strategy was the same as his. They said they were university students, but their student IDs were fake. Wang Zhong was not in the mood to go there. He shook his head and said, "Forget it. I have something else to do." "Master." At this time, a skinny man who had been silent suddenly said, I. Fan Yu, what are you doing? If you have something to say, just say it. Why are you hesitating?" Ren Biao joked. It's like this. A sworn brother of mine seems to have encountered some trouble recently. Fan Yu opened his mouth but still said it. I didn't want to get involved in this matter. Because of that evil thing, I didn't dare to get close to him. But seeing him so pitiful, I sympathize with him. Tell me about it, Wang Zhong said. Fan Yu nodded and smoked. Actually, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Because after these things happened, my friend became rich. He earned a lot of money. How did he earn money? Ren Biao asked. He relied on playing cards and buying lottery tickets. In just a month he earned tens of millions. Damn, his luck is really good. The people next to him complained. Then, Fan Yu began to tell the story. His sworn brother was called Ren Jimao. He was in his 40s or 50s. Those who could enter Ren Biao's circle at this age were all successful people with money and power. This Ren Jimao was originally like this, but he didn't expect that when he invested his money in a project, he met a scammer, and all his money went down the drain. After that, he fell into a midlife crisis. Because the project failed and the company went bankrupt, he couldn't find a job. He moved out of the mansion with his wife and children, and finally lived in a small place. After he moved in, a strange thing happened. From time to time, his wife would say that she saw someone in the house, and the rocking chair in the courtyard would suddenly start rocking on its own. This scared his wife and children so much that they insisted on moving. However, moving was easier said than done. If they wanted to move, they needed money first, and that was exactly what they lacked. So he asked his wife and children to return home for a few days. Unexpectedly, he became rich just like that. He even invited Fan Yu and the rest to paradise on earth. At that time, Fan Yu was also very curious about how he suddenly became rich. After asking, Ren Jimao said that he had met a deity. He promised the deity that he would give half of his belongings to the deity, so that the deity could bless him and make him rich. With the deity's guidance, whether it was playing cards or buying lottery tickets, he was always successful. Fan Yu, this is a good thing. Why are you frowning? Ren Biao asked curiously. Yeah, isn't it just giving half of his belongings to the deity? He made so much money. What's wrong with sharing half? Another guest complained. Fan Yu sighed and said, at that time, my friend also thought the same. Since he could make so much money, sharing half of his belongings wasn't a big deal. However, he didn't expect that the deity didn't only mean the money, but also the people and even himself. When his son was alone, he would disguise himself as a ghost child. His wife was pressed down on the bed by a ghost in the middle of the night. Even the deity himself felt that half of his body was out of control. Listening to Fan Yu's story, Wang Zhong confirmed the deity's three characteristics. First, it could make people win lottery tickets and make money. This wasn't something an ordinary otherworldly item could do. At least, it meant that this otherworldly item wasn't weak. Second, this otherworldly item didn't harm Ren Jimao. Instead, it made him rich with the condition that he had to share half of his belongings. Why was that? Why didn't it harm Ren Jimao directly? Third, it was obvious that the otherworldly item had helped Fan Yu make a fortune. Therefore, it had to fulfill its promise and take half of Fan Yu's belongings. Being able to do this also proved the otherworldly item's strength. This is a very strong otherworldly item. Wang Zhong came to a conclusion. This matter isn't simple. Where's your friend? Asked Wang Zhong. Mr. Li, how about I take you to see him later? Sure. Because they had something to do, they just ate a little. Then, Fan Yu drove Wang Zhong to Ren Jimao's place. Ren Biao and the others were afraid, so they didn't dare to go there. Fan Yu arrived at a rural residential building. There was only one building here, so it was very remote. At that moment, there was still a faint light on upstairs. Fan Yu said nervously, Master, I've called Ren Jimao. He'll come down soon, but I won't go up. Wang Zhong knew that Fan Yu was afraid of provoking something evil, so he didn't say anything. He got out of the car and looked upstairs. A woman was leaning against the window, looking outside with an expressionless face. However, Wang Zhong could see that behind the woman was a dark figure. The skin on the figure's body seemed to be rotten, and it looked extremely ugly. At that moment, the dark figure was exactly like the woman. This thing isn't simple. Su Jie floated out shocked. Wang Zhong nodded. Because the distance was quite far. The judgment I couldn't see the figure's identity. At that moment, a bald middle-aged man came out of the building. He didn't look well. There were thick dark circles under his eyes. And he seemed to be walking unsteadily. His hair was already white. Seeing this, Fan Yu was shocked. Renjimao, how did you become like this? Your hair. Why is it white? He said he wanted half of everything I had, including my lifespan. Renjimao's eyes were red. He looked at Wang Zhong and asked, Is this the master? Just call me Li Jia. Master Li, I beg you to save me. My wife is with that bastard right now. I saw it, Wang Zhong said, looking at the woman through the window. This otherworldly item wasn't an ordinary one. Even Su Jie could see that. Master, I'm afraid this thing isn't simple, Su Jie reminded him. I can't feel the Yin energy on his body. Okay, I'll go and take a look. Renjimao followed behind and said, I shouldn't have been blinded by money. Back then, to make a comeback, I promised to give him half of my things. I thought it was just money. How did you meet him? Wang Zhong asked while walking. That day, my wife and children went to the countryside. I drank a lot. At that time, the chair in the room suddenly shook. There was no wind at that time. So I thought there might be something dirty in the room. Maybe because I was drunk, I said some harsh words. Then a man spoke. He asked me if I wanted to be rich. At that time, I was bankrupt. Of course, I wanted to be rich. So I said of course I wanted to be rich. I also said that if you could make me rich, I would promise you anything. He asked me if I could really do anything for him. I said yes. Suddenly, laughter came from the room. Then, he said that if I gave him half of my things, he would help me get rich. So I agreed. Wang Zhong already knew the cause and effect of this matter. This otherworldly item was different from the previous ones. When he came to the room, he finally received a notification from the Judgment Eye. Found spirit body Yu Meng. Age 123. Lifespan 73. Rage 317. Warning, 300 rage points. Special ability. Spirit body status. Lifespan has expired. This spirit body belongs to the group of lingering spirits. Suggestion, forcibly imprison him. Special ability. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows and said to Renjimao, Wait here. While he was talking, a little boy walked over with an expressionless face. The little boy's face was dark, and the dark circles under his eyes made him look like a panda. He came to Renjimao and muttered, Father, I'm going to rest with my godfather. Son, you can't go. You can't go now. Renjimao hurriedly carried his son. However, his son showed a cold smile. During the day, mother and I are your family. At night, we belong to Godfather. Since Renjimao and the otherworldly item had agreed to split everything in half, even his family was implicated. Wang Zhong looked at Renjimao's son. At first, he thought that his son was talking like that because he was possessed by the otherworldly item or some other reason. However, after taking a closer look, he found that it wasn't the case. There was nothing strange about his body, which made Wang Zhong feel strange. Su Jie felt even more strange. I'm afraid this evil being is controlling him through some special means. Wang Zhong remembered the mission's notification. When the rage points reached 300, he would have a special ability. Perhaps this is the evil being's special ability. Wang Zhong went upstairs. The bedroom door suddenly opened, and a woman came out. Her clothes were disheveled. This woman was Renjimao's wife. At night, she belonged to the evil being. Who are you? Please leave, said the woman fiercely. Wang Zhong took a closer look and saw the evil being hiding behind the woman. Yu Meng, I'm Gehenna. Leave immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Wang Zhong said calmly. His hand made the almighty heavenly dragon's gesture. Gehenna. Hearing that, the evil being shouted coldly, Mind your own business. Mind your own business. The woman shouted at the same time. Her hands turned into claws, grabbing at Wang Zhong. You dare to show off your slight skill before an expert with such insignificant skills? Almighty heavenly dragon. He slapped at the woman's head. Ah! The woman was sent flying. When she landed on the ground, a wisp of black mist spread out from her head. Where am I? Why am I here? As the black mist came out, the woman's mind became much clearer. Suddenly, she remembered the scene of her being slept with. She cried and shouted, "He's pestering me again. He's pestering me again. Boo-hoo. I don't want to live anymore." Chapter 498. Judging from the woman's attitude, she was completely in a delirious state like the evil spirit. Or rather, she was fascinated by it. Now that she was awakened by Wang Zhong, her previous memories were still there, which made her unable to face that scene. Su Jie, take care of her. Okay. Su Jie supported the woman. The dark evil spirit found that Wang Zhong was not so easy to deal with, so he grinned and asked, "What do you like?" "What do you mean?" Wang Zhong was confused. "You can tell me what you like. I can help you achieve it. Do you like money? I can help you earn a lot." His voice seemed to have some kind of temptation, and he continued to persuade. "You only need to pay a small price, that is, half of your things. Half of my things, you can help me achieve anything I want?" Wang Zhong chuckled. "Yes, what do you think? This condition is not bad, right? You will become a rich man with more and more money. Who doesn't like money in this world?" "Yes, who doesn't like money?" Wang Zhong said calmly. The reason why he did not make a move now was that he was observing the scene before the evil spirit's death. This man was just a poor farmer in his 30s when he died. He had hands and feet, but he was very lazy, so his family was poor. But even so, he still lamented the unfairness of fate. Why were his brothers rich? Why were his neighbors so happy? Why were his friends married and had children? He was almost 40 years old, but he hadn't even touched a girl's hair. He could not figure it out. Several times, he fantasized that it would be good if these people could share their things with him. Once, when his brother came back, he mustered up the courage to ask, hoping that his brother could give him tens of thousands of yuan to go out and do business. His family, who knew his character, naturally did not agree. He was angry and wronged. He thought that his family did not approve of him. So he drank a lot of wine and set the quilt at home on fire. There was a big fire, and he was burned alive. After death, his obsession was very deep. He always liked to have other people's things. 100 years later, he absorbed more and more yin qi, and his ability became stronger and stronger. His obsession became deeper and deeper. Finally, he found that he could bewitch some people and make them agree to give him half of their wealth. This was his obsession and the reason for his death. He liked to take other people's things. Of course, this was like taking off one's pants to fart. With his current ability, he could directly snatch it or even kill it. However, his obsession did not allow him to do so. His way of thinking was to take away other people's things, and at the same time, make them agree to it willingly. Wang Zhong wasn't surprised by this information. However, he was very curious. What kind of method did he use to control this family? Just as he was thinking, Yu Meng's soul power surged towards Wang Zhong. However, after that, it didn't show any signs of aggression. Instead, it seemed to spread over Wang Zhong's body, wanting to become one with him. Wang Zhong instantly understood. He used soul power fusion to achieve his goal of controlling others. After knowing this, Wang Zhong stretched out his arm and activated his judgment eye. Although the soul body wasn't weak, its weakness was also very obvious. As long as it was far away from his soul power and out of his control, he would be able to take care of it. "What are you doing?" Feeling the suction force from Wang Zhong's hand, Yu Meng turned pale with fright. "You hurt the innocent. According to the laws of Yin, I sentence you to prison." Get lost, get lost," Yu Meng roared, his mouth wide open because of anger. "Audacious demon, you still dare to resist stubbornly at this point, almighty heavenly dragon. Revered Ksitigarbha, Prajna Buddhas Prajna Bamakong." Chanting an incantation, Yu Meng waved his hand irritably and shouted, "Annoying, don't be annoying. I just want other people's things. Why won't you give it to me? Why? A sluggard is still being reasonable. You're still stubborn even now. Sluggard, you're the sluggard. Other people's wealth is their labor, but you want their things. If this isn't laziness, then what is?" You actually know about my matters. Yu Meng still wanted to speak, but the soul power in his body was getting weaker and weaker. Wang Zhong even used the almighty heavenly dragon curse seal. Bang! Yu Meng groaned and suddenly retreated. Whoosh! Without any strength left, he couldn't hold on any longer, and was imprisoned by the judgment eye. Imprisonment successful. First imprisonment of a stranded soul body. Reward: a file of a stranded soul body. Hearing the notification, Wang Zhong was delighted. This file of a soul body clearly recorded the characteristics and information of every soul body. If he encountered a soul body that he couldn't deal with in the future, he would be able to obtain information from the file. Ren Jimao's wife had already fainted from fright. After that, Fan Yu immediately called for an ambulance, and Ren Jimao, his wife, and their child were all sent to the hospital. After Wang Zhong treated the fused soul power in his wife and child, the two of them recovered very well. Ren Jimao was the only one who had lost a significant amount of his lifespan, at least 10 years, so his hair was completely white. I only have myself to blame for this. I was blinded by greed. Ren Jimao let out a long sigh. Outside the ward, Wang Zhong packed up his things and left. It was already late at night when he returned home. However, in his current state, he didn't feel the slightest bit tired. Just as Wang Zhong was watching television and having some fun, Su Jie's rage points suddenly rose. Wang Zhong was puzzled. He turned to look at Su Jie, who was standing by the window. Su Jie had been looking out the window ever since she came back. Her expression was grave, and it was hard to tell what she was thinking. Wang Zhong walked over to the window without batting an eyelid. It was pitch black outside, and Wang Zhong had no idea what Su Jie was looking at. "What are you doing?" asked Wang Zhong. "You scumbag." Su Jie cursed. Her rage points continued to rise. Wang Zhong's face darkened. "Are you cursing me?" "No." Su Jie snorted. Su Jie snorted coldly and pointed to a driveway downstairs. "I saw a man and a woman get into this car. I know the man. He's also from our building. The woman isn't his wife." After they got into the car started shaking. Wang Zhong sighed. "Don't keep thinking that he's a scumbag. Maybe they're talking about work in the car?" Scumbag." Su Jie cursed again. The car finally stopped moving. Su Jie cursed again. "Bastard couple. Why are all men in this world so scumbags?" Wang Zhong. "Grandmaster, please don't misunderstand. I don't think you're a scumbag. Is that so? That's good." It was fortunate that Wang Zhong didn't have a red scarf around his neck. Otherwise, he would have clenched it tightly after hearing Su Jie's words. "Grandmaster, I want to take revenge on that scumbag again." Su Jie took out the rope and handed it to Wang Zhong. "Let's take revenge together. Is she addicted to this?" Wang Zhong didn't know if Su Jie really wanted to take revenge, but he couldn't just leave her in the lurch. He said helplessly, "Forget it. Let's serve the people." While Wang Zhong was serving the people at Chunyun's house. After Wang Zhong left Chunyun's house in the afternoon, Chunyun fell into a coma with a high fever. Although she took medicine and had an injection, it was useless. The students had already left. Chen Deshang and his wife anxiously waited by Chunyun's bedside. "Why isn't the fever gone yet?" Su Rushui was so anxious that she was about to cry. "It's been so long." Chen Deshang touched Chunyun's forehead. His hand was suddenly scalded. He frowned and said, "It's so hot. Let's send her to the hospital. The doctors nearby are not as good as Dr. N. She said she should rest." "But this, how about this? You go and call Dr. N." Su Rushui nodded and went downstairs. As soon as she left the house, a gust of wind blew over from the staircase. Su Rushui rubbed her forehead tiredly. She suddenly felt a little cold. She smiled bitterly. She was really tired from taking care of her daughter for the past 2 days. She actually felt cold. "It seems that I need to rest. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll fall down." Su Rushui sighed. When she reached the staircase, she suddenly felt someone pushing her from behind. Ouch! Su Rushui was pushed down. She rolled on the ground, and her head was bleeding. Who pushed me?" Su Rushui's first reaction was that her husband had pushed her because Chen Deshang was alone in the house. As for her daughter, she was sick. However, she thought about it again. They loved each other, and had never quarreled. Why would he push her? Was there someone else in the house? Su Rushui looked around. Suddenly, she felt something cold in her ears. Who is it? Su Rushui hurriedly turned around, and a human face covered in blood appeared in front of her. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Su Rushui sucked in a breath of cold air. Yes, yes. She was so scared that her face turned blue. She didn't know what to say. In a panic, she picked up a trash can and threw it at the dirty thing behind her. Inside the trash can was Wang Zhong's business card. At first, Su Rushui didn't have any hope for the trash can. However, she didn't expect that the otherworldly item would be sent flying. At the same time, the business card flew out of the trash can and fell on the ground after a slight flash. The otherworldly item looked at the business card with fear. It stood at the door and glared at Su Rushui. Then it left unwillingly. Honey, honey, what happened to you? Chen Desheng heard the noise downstairs and rushed out. He saw his wife on the ground with blood all over her head. Honey, Chen Desheng supported Su Rushui. There is. Su Rushui wanted to say something. Suddenly, she seemed to see something. She pointed at the business card in the trash can and murmured. There is. Su Rushui groaned and fainted. Honey, honey, what happened to you? On the second floor, Chen Yun woke up in a daze. She seemed to see a familiar figure standing in front of her. You're awake, Chen Yun? Chen Yun's eyes widened in fear. Yi Xiaotian. No. Chapter 499. On this day, Wang Zhong prepared his birthday present and took a taxi to the Tang family. His father-in-law and mother-in-law were dressed very formally today, especially his mother-in-law, Li Lihua. She actually put on heavy makeup and was dressed very coquettishly. After they were almost done, Li Lihua and Tang Yaqing helped the silly Tang Yi downstairs. Yaqing, are you sure you don't want your sister to divorce that trash for the time being? Once they were downstairs, Li Lihua started to complain again and continued. Didn't we agree to divorce immediately? Why are we still giving him a chance? Our family is too kind. How many chances have we given that kid? But what about him? When did he change? Isn't that so? Downstairs, his father-in-law, Tang Mingze, who had put on his leather shoes, sighed softly and said, In my opinion, we should find an excuse to chase him away. Why find an excuse? Come up with an idea. Look, it's your birthday today. Without him, our family would be happy. But once he comes, my two sisters will look down on him again. At that time, they will look down on us too. Tang Yaqing glanced at her mother helplessly and felt helpless. Her mother was good at everything, but she was too prideful. Her two aunts were the same. When the three sisters gathered together, they liked to compare with each other. Because her sister found Li Zhe, this trash of a husband, her two aunts were constantly nagging about why such a son-in-law should come. This trash should be divorced and leave with nothing. As they talked, they dragged her mother into it and said that she had no taste. The son-in-law she found was worse than a random person on the street. This naturally made Li Lihua feel uncomfortable. So every time something happened, Li Lihua didn't want Li Zhe to follow her to avoid embarrassment. Mom, stop talking. If it wasn't for Li Zhe, my shop would have been smashed. Tang Yaqing was speechless. After that incident, Li Lihua naturally heard about it from her daughter. Hearing this, she said disdainfully, Didn't you just accidentally save a big boss? What's so great about that? The big boss is at most polite to you. Don't tell me he will give you money to spend. In this day and age, everything is fake. Only money is real. Alright, now that I've called him out, you should stop talking. Tang Mingze put on his suit and said coldly, Let's see what gift he'll give me later. That's right. If he embarrasses our family, we'll ask him to get a divorce after he comes out. I don't believe that he would dare to stay in our house and not leave. Tang Yaqing sighed. Since Wang Zhong helped her out last time, she felt that Wang Zhong had really changed a lot, but her parents still had the same impression of him. She couldn't say anything, and could only let Wang Zhong fend for himself. Eat, eat. Tang Yi foolishly hugged Li Lihua and said, Mama, eat. Sigh, my poor eldest daughter. Li Lihua patted Tang Yi's head sadly. In the past, Tanya was the pride of the couple. She had been outstanding in her studies since she was young. She was beautiful and had a good temperament. There were countless boys who chased after her. But who would have thought that she would go crazy overnight? Initially, he wanted to find her an ordinary man who loved her to take care of her. However, he did not expect that he would not be able to take care of her well, and would even cause trouble. Shaking their heads, the couple helped Tanya out of the door. As for Tang Yacheng, after changing into exquisite high heels, she picked up the car key and thought about it. She called Wang Zhong. "Where are you?" asked Tang Yacheng. "We're almost there." "What about you?" said Wang Zhong, who was sitting in the taxi. "We're going out now. Don't go in for the time being after you arrive. Wait for a while in a clothing store across the street." Wang Zhong didn't know what Tang Yacheng was planning, but since it was his sister-in-law who said it, there was no problem, so he readily agreed. 20 minutes later, Tang Yacheng's car stopped at the entrance of the restaurant. Li Lihua and her husband helped Tanya go in first. Tang Yacheng said that she wanted to buy something and walked across the street. Wang Zhong was drinking milk tea at the moment. When he saw Tang Yacheng coming over, he walked out of the store. "Yacheng, why did you make me wait here?" Tang Yacheng looked at Wang Zhong, who was dressed plainly in front of her. She sighed and said, "Today is my father's birthday, and also your father-in-law's birthday. Don't you know how to dress better?" Without waiting for Wang Zhong's response, she led Wang Zhong into a suit store on the side. As they walked, she said, "What gift did you prepare?" "A watch." Wang Zhong originally wanted to say that he also bought something for Tang Yacheng, but Tang Yacheng directly interrupted him. "Your gift is not suitable. Choose a suit." "Ah." Wang Zhong was embarrassed. "I don't need you to give me clothes to wear. Is there something wrong with your brain? I'm buying it for Dad." "Then why do you want me to see it?" "I don't know about these things." Wang Zhong frowned. "Of course I want you to see it. To be honest, if you don't want a divorce and still want our family to give you a chance, you should choose a good suit for my dad. Otherwise you can wait for the divorce." At this moment, Wang Zhong was actually a little touched in his heart. Although his sister-in-law spoke impolitely, she was still reasonable. He was good to her, and she at least knew how to be grateful. "Thank you, Yacheng. You're so nice," said Wang Zhong. Tang Yacheng felt goosebumps all over her body. "I only helped you this time, because you helped me out that day. Anyway, don't talk too much later. Do you understand? As for the watch you bought, don't take out that kind of low-grade watch, so as not to be laughed at." Wang Zhong was speechless. He originally wanted to say that he bought a high-end watch, the very expensive kind. Unfortunately, Tang Yacheng didn't wait for him to speak. After choosing a suit, she asked the cashier to pack it. After paying, Tang Yacheng asked Wang Zhong to take the things. She still had to go into the restaurant to greet the guests. From the beginning to the end, she didn't give Wang Zhong a chance to speak. Wang Zhong could only take the clothes and leave under the complicated gaze of the cashier. After arriving at the entrance of the restaurant, Wang Zhong noticed that the cars of the Tang family's relatives and friends were parked at the entrance, but no one was there. They probably all went in. After that, the waiter came over. After Wang Zhong said the private room number, he was led to the private room upstairs by the waiter. This was the largest private room here, and it could seat more than 10 people. His relatives and friends were all here. According to his memory, Wang Zhong naturally knew a large group of people here. "Eldest aunt, second aunt." Wang Zhong called out to them one by one. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his heart. Then he spat at his eldest aunt and second aunt. The whole place fell silent. Everyone stared at Wang Zhong with their mouths agape. They didn't understand why Wang Zhong was so disrespectful. He actually spat at his elders. Even though Wang Zhong had seen much of the world and was able to face thousands of soldiers without batting an eyelid, he couldn't wait to leave this place immediately. "Lija, what do you mean by this?" Wang Zhong roared in his heart. He didn't expect Lija to suddenly attack him. That was why he spat at him. A cold voice roared in Wang Zhong's heart. "They don't deserve to be called by me. Don't embarrass me." You want to save face now?" Wang Zhong snorted in his heart. "Ever since I married into the family, their family hasn't been nice to me. Especially these two women. I want them dead. Wang Zhong didn't even think about it. He suppressed Li Jia in his heart again. Ah! Li Jia screamed and stopped breathing. Li Jia, what do you mean? Eldest aunt put her hands on her hips and said unhappily. Second aunt said in a strange tone. Third sister. Does Li Jia have something against us? We are here to celebrate the birthday, not to be bullied. Wang Zhong finally understood why Li Jia was so angry. It was because his eldest aunt and second aunt were more difficult to deal with than his mother-in-law, Li Lihua. He could only explain. I'm sorry, eldest aunt and second aunt. I have rhinitis recently. I sneezed just now. Yes, it's rhinitis. Li Lihua quickly added. She didn't want to be lectured by her two sisters because of this. Eldest aunt and second aunt. The dishes will be served soon. Have a seat. Tang Yaqing also came over and persuaded eldest aunt and second aunt to sit down. At this time, Wang Zhong helped the silly Tangya to sit down. His group of relatives and friends basically ignored him. They were all chatting with a few young people who were doing well. Wang Zhong had an impression of these people. They were eldest aunt's son-in-law, Sun Du, and second aunt's son Yang Wenchong. This Sun Du was doing well. Not only was he fair and clean, but he also wore a pair of glasses. He gave people the impression that he was very clean. Moreover, this person was doing well. He worked in a financial company and earned a yearly salary. Ever since Sun Du married eldest aunt's daughter, eldest aunt praised Sun Du as a good son-in-law. She said that Sun Du was a promising son-in-law who earned a lot of money. Second aunt's son, Yang Wenchong, benefited from Sun Du's introduction and also entered a good company to work. Therefore, the two families had a good relationship. Little uncle, happy birthday. I wish you happiness as the East Sea and longevity as the South Mountain. I also wish my father-in-law, mother-in-law, second aunt, and second uncle's husband good health. I will drink first as a toast. Sun Du raised his wine glass and drank it in one gulp. Eldest aunt and second aunt showed a satisfied expression. Only Li Lihua was still unhappy. Their son-in-law was so good at talking and so sensible. Compared to Wang Zhong, the difference was too big. Tang Mingzi smiled and said, Sun Du, you are too polite. No, you are the elders. We are the younger ones. This is etiquette. Sun Du smiled and said, Sun Du is still the sensible one. Our Yang Wenchong will follow you in the future. You have to be more responsible. Second aunt flattered. That's for sure. In fact, Wenchong is very good at doing things. He is also smart. Many people in the company praise him for learning quickly. Sun Du said. Ha, Sun Du is still good at talking. Second aunt laughed from ear to ear. At this time, eldest aunt looked at Wang Zhong. Li Jia, I heard that you still don't have a job? Tang Mingzi and Li Lihua's expressions were a little embarrassed. Everyone knew that Li Jia didn't have a job, so they felt a little embarrassed. Wang Zhong thought about it. It seemed that he really didn't have a job, so he nodded. Yes, not yet. Hey, you're still so young. How can you be lazy and gluttonous? Sun Du, you have a lot of connections. I don't know if there are any good jobs around you. We are all relatives. If you need help, you must help. Eldest aunt said to Sun Du. Chapter 500. Wang Zhong felt both amused and helpless when he saw that the topic was directed to him. Did he still need a job? In all fairness, if he really wanted to make money, he could earn tens of millions in minutes. But was that necessary? He used to have hundreds of millions of assets, and he was already indifferent to money and power. However, he also understood that although his aunt and aunt spoke in a sarcastic manner, they were not targeting his mother-in-law. They really looked down on him. It was fine if they thought that he was useless, but he even freeloaded on their sister's house. Therefore, they were sincere in recommending him a job. Their purpose was to reduce the burden on their sister. They felt that they should not spoil him. If he was still the Li Jia of the past, this would definitely be useful. He would be able to get Li Jia to work. But he was no longer Li Jia. At this time Sun Du spoke. He frowned and said, The job is still easy to solve, but my company recently has a new leader. If I use my connections to recruit people, and he notices, I'm afraid that he will use it as an excuse to make a fuss. After all, A new official must be strict. What he needs to do now is to establish his authority and make an example of others. So, as expected of a talent in a big company, Sun Du's analysis was very thorough. The relatives listened and nodded. They felt that it was reasonable. Sun Du looked at Wang Zhong and said, "Also Lija, I remember that your education is only from an ordinary university. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to work in my company. So I'm sorry. But you can't be unemployed forever. Sun Du, do you see any menial jobs in the company? Security is fine too." Aunt asked. "There are security jobs. I know a boss who works at construction sites. He needs security guards at night. The salary is not bad. 5,000 yuan a month. Lija, you have no education, no skills, and no work experience. This job is quite suitable." His words were not pleasant to the ears, but this was the way of the world. If you have no money, no ability, and don't know how to speak, even your relatives will look down on you. Then, a group of relatives started to discuss. "Lija, you can't be arrogant. You don't have an education, but you have such a good job. Also Lija, young people shouldn't be afraid of hardships. This job is quite good." The more Li Lihua and Tang Mingzi listened, the more upset they felt. In fact, if someone really introduced Wang Zhong to a job in private, they would also seriously consider it. However, there were so many relatives, especially the younger generation of their relatives, watching. When he said that, it made them lose face. As they chatted, the second aunt's son, Yang Wenchong, flattered, "Brother-in-law Sun Du, I heard from the people in the company that you're going to be promoted soon?" Sun Du couldn't help but stick out his chest, thinking that Yang Wenchong was really sensible. Then he smiled and said, "It's not worth mentioning. The matter hasn't been settled yet. Sun Du is still the best. He's going to be promoted at such a young age." Second aunt also flattered. Sun Du smiled and said, "My company's CEO has a lot of things to do at home recently. His daughter is sick, so he can't handle it all. So he gave me an extra team. It's not worth mentioning, not worth mentioning. Ha ha ha." Sun Du seemed to be modest, but he was actually very proud. This feeling of being in the limelight in front of his relatives and friends was really good. Following which, he turned to Li Zhao and said, "That's good. Li Zhao, I'll get you a job as a security guard tomorrow. However, you have to be obedient when you go there. Don't slack off. When the time comes, you'll make me lose face." "Actually, I don't need to work." When Wang Zhong finished speaking, first aunt was angry. "You still say you don't need to work? Third sister, don't you know how to scold him?" "Yeah, I was kind enough to recommend a job, but he said he doesn't need it." Second aunt said sarcastically, "Don't tell me you want to be like this for the rest of your life?" Wang Zhong said helplessly, "Actually, I have money." Haha. First aunt and second aunt laughed again. Just as they were about to mock him, a phone call came in. Wang Zhong looked and saw that it was Fan Yu calling. "Excuse me, I need to take this call." Wang Zhong walked outside. It turned out that Fan Yu wanted to thank him for saving his brother's family that day. Today, his brother and family were discharged from the hospital, and he wanted to treat him to a meal. Wang Zhong remembered that day when Ren Biao treated him to a meal. Fan Yu introduced himself and said that he opened a restaurant. The restaurant should be nearby. Now that he thought about it, it seemed like he was talking about this restaurant. Wang Zhong was surprised. He did not expect such a coincidence. He had already eaten, and naturally, he rejected Fan Yu's invitation. He said that it was his father-in-law's birthday, and he was also having dinner here. "You are here too." "I know. I will come over immediately," Fan Yu quickly said. "No need. Of course, of course. You have helped my sworn brother. How can I not come over to thank you properly? Oh, I will order some more dishes for you. The bill will be on me. Don't pay the bill." "You're welcome. We have already ordered a lot." Of course, of course." Before Wang Zhong could reply, Fan Yu hung up the phone. Obviously, he had gone to greet the guests. Wang Zhong entered the restaurant. His relatives and friends were still scolding him. "Lija, don't bite off more than you can chew. There is nothing shameful about being a security guard." "Yeah, I really don't know what you are thinking." The more Tang Mingzi and Li Lihua looked at Wang Zhong, the angrier they were. They could not wait to chase Wang Zhong away. At this time, 5 or 6 waiters came to the door. Each of them was holding a plate of exquisite dishes. For example, there was a whole roasted lamb, a large plate of bread crabs, and some dishes that Wang Zhong did not recognize. This Fan Yu's efficiency is too high. Wang Zhong guessed that Fan Yu must have brought the dishes from the other tables here first. Tang Yaqing looked at all the dishes and said in surprise, "That, you must have made a mistake. Our dishes seem to have been served." "No mistake. Our boss personally ordered us to do this." The head waiter smiled and bowed. "This is from your boss." Tang Yaqing was dumbfounded. "Yaqing, could it be that some big boss wants to pursue you?" Li Lihua laughed. Although Wang Zhong lost face, she could still gain face in front of her daughter. Tang Yaqing did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Mom, I don't even know the name of this boss. The boss of this restaurant is called Fan Yu. Other than opening a hotel, he has also invested in many companies. I have seen him before." Sun Du suddenly said. "So you know Sun Du." Aunt was happy. "Is it because of you?" Sun Du frowned and shook his head. "I have seen him before, but he was walking with my boss at that time. I don't know him." "That's strange. Why did the boss send us food?" Second aunt was confused. "These dishes are very expensive. Oh my god, such a large plate of bread crabs is probably more than 1,000 yuan, right?" Li Lihua was shocked. After eating this meal, her heart was really aching. "Don't tell me we are going to pay the bill later?" Tang Mingzi frowned. Although their family's conditions were not bad, they were really unwilling to eat a meal that cost over 10,000 yuan. Seeing that everyone was so suspicious, Wang Zhong knew that he had to tell the truth, so he said, "These dishes are from Boss Fan. Everyone just eat. It's free." "Nonsense. What if they make a mistake?" The more Li Lihua looked at Wang Zhong, the more she disliked him. This son-in-law who can't do anything and only knows how to eat. "Are you going to pay the bill?" Aunt said sarcastically. "You don't have any ability to earn money, but you are quite good at eating." Wang Zhong said helplessly, "Not only is the boss treating us, we don't have to pay the bill, so there is no need to be polite." "Uft." Yang Wenchong laughed directly. "Brother-in-law, you don't mean that the boss is giving you face and treating us, right?" Can't I?" Wang Zhong scratched his head. He felt that this family was taking advantage of him. "Lija, I can't tell that you are quite good at bragging," Aunt said in disdain. Aunt and the others did not say anything, but their expressions were very interesting. They obviously felt that Wang Zhong was bragging. After all, Lija's character was not good in the past. He was lazy and evil. Now he was full of nonsense. Wang Zhong was about to say something when Fan Yu came in with a bottle of imported red wine. "President Fan." Sun Du recognized the person and was very surprised. Fan Yu looked at Sun Du strangely. "You are?" Sun Du was a little embarrassed. Fan Yu did not know who he was. It seemed that he had completely forgotten about him. He could only say, "You came to our company's cocktail party last time. I was at the staff table." Oh, you. Hello. Fan Yu did not remember at all. But seeing that Wang Zhong was here, he gave him some face. Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, Fan Yu walked over to Wang Zhong and said, "Mr. Lija, welcome for dinner. Do you like the dishes?" Seeing Fan Yu being so polite, Fan Yu's relatives and friends, including Tang Yaqing and his in-laws, all looked at each other in shock. They really couldn't figure out how Wang Zhong could make Boss Fan treat him so politely. "The taste is not bad, but you are too polite. These crabs and bread are too expensive." Look, my relatives were shocked. They thought we were paying the bill. Wang Zhong laughed. "You don't have to pay the bill. It's all on me." Fan Yu clarified to Li Lihua and the others. Li Lihua and Tang Mingzi smiled awkwardly. They recalled the scene where they scolded Wang Zhong and said that he only knew how to eat. They were extremely embarrassed. "That, Mr. Fan, you know Lija?" Li Lihua asked. "Yes, Mr. Li is a capable person. It's my fortune to know him. I will need Mr. Li's help in the future." Fan Yu smiled and took out a cigarette to offer a toast. When he reached Tang Mingzi, he said, "Today is your birthday, right? You are Mr. Li's father-in-law. so it must be grand. I will send a 1,000-layer cake over later. No, it's too expensive. Tang Mingzi quickly waved his hand. Ha ha ha, father-in-law. You don't have to be so polite. Fan Yu laughed heartily. At this moment, he noticed Tang Yaqing and Tang Ye sitting beside Wang Zhong. However, Tang Ye seemed to be in a daze, as if she was retarded. He thought that she definitely wasn't Wang Zhong's wife. So he said to Tang Yaqing, "You must be Mr. Li's wife. Mr. Li often mentions you in front of us." Chapter 501. Cough, cough, cough. When Wang Zhong heard this, he knew that Fan Yu had made a mistake and quickly said, "This is my sister-in-law." Tang Yaqing awkwardly said, "Li Zhou is my brother-in-law." Tang Yaqing blankly said, "Why did you say my husband?" Fan Yu was stunned. Why was Master Li's wife so stupid? He originally wanted to flatter her, but he didn't expect that he would make a mistake. At this time Li Lihua sighed. "I don't know what happened to my daughter. Something went wrong with her brain." I understand. Fan Yu nodded and held the red wine. "This is the best red wine in this shop. Congratulations on your birthday, father-in-law." Thank you so much," Tang Mingzi repeatedly said. "No need to thank me. If I really want to thank someone, I have to thank Mr. Li." Fan Yu politely said a few words and tactfully left. After he left, his eldest and second aunts looked at Wang Zhong with strange gazes. At this time, Yang Wenchong asked, "Brother-in-law, I didn't expect you to know Mr. Fan and treat you so well. How did you guys meet?" "Yeah, you don't usually have a job. How did you get to know these big bosses?" Li Lihua also asked. Wang Zhong replied, "Boss Ren introduced me." Tang Yaqing thought and said in surprise, "You accidentally saved Boss Ren last time." "Yes, after saving Boss Ren treated me to a meal, and then we got to know each other." Wang Zhong didn't say anything about killing demons. The people here were all relatives and friends. Sometimes there was no need to say too much. With this, the relatives and friends all knew that he saved someone, so they were grateful to Wang Zhong. "I don't want to say this, but since you know such a big boss, why don't you find a good job?" Big Aunt said again. "Yeah, you have to learn to grasp opportunities. Eating a few meals is nothing. You can't keep eating other people's meals, right?" Second Aunt said in a strange tone. Wang Zhong was about to speak when another phone call came in. Wang Zhong looked at it. It was an unknown number. He picked up the phone. It was Chen Yun's father, Chen Desheng. It turned out that after Chen Yun's mother encountered the evil spirit that day, she threw a trash can over. Inside the trash can was Wang Zhong's business card. The name card immediately chased away the evil spirit, shocking Chen Yun's mother. Unfortunately, she fainted at that time and didn't have time to say it. After a few days she finally woke up. As soon as she woke up, she grabbed Chen Desheng's collar and said, "That business card." Chen Desheng finally understood. Wang Zhong was really a master. If it weren't for his name card, his wife might have died long ago, and their family might not have survived. Now that his daughter and wife were lying on the hospital bed, the only person who could save them was Wang Zhong. He picked up the blackened business card and called Wang Zhong. "Mr. Li, I was a snob. It's my fault. Please forgive me. My wife and daughter are not doing well now. Please save us." Chen Desheng cried on the other end of the phone. Wang Zhong wasn't in a hurry. Since the otherworldly item wasn't strong, the Chen family would be fine for the time being. That was why he had let the otherworldly item stay in the house for so many days. He went out and said, "Today is my father-in-law's birthday. Come over after dinner." It's too late. How about this? Where are you? I'll come and pick you up." Wang Zhong calculated the time. It was about time, so he told him the address of the restaurant. After hanging up the phone, Wang Zhong went into the house. At this time, his relatives and friends took out their gifts. Sun Du and his wife gave him some tonics. His first and second aunt's gifts were more expensive. They were suits and ties. Finally, it was Wang Zhong's turn. Tang Yaqing helped Wang Zhong take out the suit and said, "Dad, this is Li's gift. His gift is from him. Why are you taking it?" Li Lihua wasn't satisfied. She felt that her youngest daughter had been close to Wang Zhong recently, so she was worried that she might be deceived. Didn't he go to answer the phone just now? Tang Yaqing said embarrassedly. Yiqing, don't lie to your mother. You bought this suit yourself. Why are you lying to us? At this time, his second aunt suddenly said. What? Li Lihua's expression changed. She questioned Wang Zhong, who just came in. Is it true? Tang Yaqing didn't know what to say. She was very embarrassed. Second aunt snorted and said. When Chong was parking the car at that time, after we came down, we saw Yiqing and Lija enter the store opposite. We saw it with our own eyes from the window. Yiqing paid for it. How dare you deny it? Okay, this suit was indeed bought by Yiqing, Wang Zhong said helplessly. Yiqing was worried that I didn't have money to buy a gift, so she bought it for me. It's fine if you don't have money to buy it. But how can you spend your sister-in-law's money? His first aunt reprimanded. That's right. It's too outrageous. Second aunt shook her head helplessly. She saw that Boss Fan was quite polite to Wang Zhong when he came over. But she knew what kind of person Wang Zhong was in her heart. Thus, since she came in until now, the person who spoke the most eccentric words was her. Wang Zhong said, Actually, I bought a gift, but Yiqing didn't listen to my explanation. As he spoke, Wang Zhong took out 2 small boxes. He took one of the small boxes to Tang Yaqing and said, This is for you. For me? Tang Yaqing was surprised. Didn't you say you liked watches when I was in your store last time? I bought it on the way. Wang Zhong said indifferently. Tang Mingzi took the box and opened it. It was actually a nouveau riche gold watch. It's gold. Tang Mingzi was stunned. It looked like it cost tens of thousands. Not to mention buying it, he didn't even dare to think about it. Tang Yaqing opened the box. Damn, a diamond-studded watch, and it's a luxury brand. Just these few sparkling diamonds are at least tens of thousands, right? Everyone in the room was dumbfounded. Lija, where did you get the money for such an expensive watch? Tang Yaqing couldn't help but ask. Wang Zhong smiled and said, I've been working with a few bosses recently, and I've only earned a few million. Looking at his relatives' dumbfounded expressions, Wang Zhong felt helpless in his heart. Actually, he didn't want to act cool, but they were just mocking and ridiculing him. Since that was the case, in order to not be gossiped about, he would act cool. In this society, if you don't act cool, sometimes you can't. Lija, thank you so much for this watch. Tang Mingzi's eyes were about to narrow from smiling. Li Lihua gave Wang Zhong a chicken drumstick, which was rare. Lija, eat more. Look at how thin you have been recently. You must be very tired. Lija, why didn't you say you had a job earlier? Tang Yaqing said again. Yeah, to think that we wanted to introduce a job to you. Second aunt said unhappily. Wang Zhong smiled and said, In fact, it's not a job. It's just a business. Although I earned a few million from these businesses, I don't know when I will have another chance. These words were very modest, but when the relatives heard it, they were envious. Earning a few million in one go was equivalent to 10 years of hard work for others. Wasn't that enough? Acting cool, wasn't this too pretentious? But people were like this. If you really acted cool, no one would say anything about you. Instead, they would admire you. Come, Lija, let me give you a toast. A relative raised his glass. No wonder Boss Fan is so polite to you. I'm afraid it's not just because you saved his friend, right? Wang Zhong smiled and didn't comment. In this way, the relatives were more certain that Lija was very powerful. Otherwise, why would those big bosses think so highly of him? Lija, what kind of business do you do? Tang Yaqing put away the watch and couldn't help but ask. Real estate. Wang Zhong opened his mouth and said, Oh. Tang Yaqing didn't know much about these things. She thought about it and said, You have money. You have to treat my sister better. Of course. Wang Zhong looked at his wife, who was eating with a dirty mouth. He was speechless. His silly wife was a silly wife. If it wasn't for the mission, he really didn't want this wife. Husband. Tanya saw Wang Zhong looking at her and laughed foolishly. Wang Zhong touched Tanya's hair and felt helpless. Wife, where did your 3 souls go? After being here for so long, he didn't have any clues as to why Tanya had become like this. It was really worrying. Then they continued to eat. Now everyone was more polite to Wang Zhong. However, his eldest and second aunts still didn't say anything. After all, in their minds, their impression of Wang Zhong was deeply ingrained. So they didn't say anything. Everyone chatted for a while. Then, a figure appeared at the door in a hurry. He looked very tired and wanted to come in immediately. However, because of his face, he was embarrassed to come in. This person wasn't anyone else. It was Chen Deshang. After knowing that Wang Zhong was eating here, he asked around and finally found out that Wang Zhong was eating in this private room. So he came over immediately. He had no choice. He was really anxious now. His daughter and wife were in the hospital. Seeing that it was getting worse, he hurried over. But after all, he had a favor to ask of Wang Zhong. Everyone was eating inside. He couldn't be a wet blanket. Hey, why is there someone sneaking around at the door? Tang Yaqing's eyes were sharp. She immediately saw someone outside. Tang Ya pointed at the door and said, "There really is someone." Everyone looked over, and Sun Du immediately jumped to his feet. "Sun Du, what's wrong with you?" His eldest aunt was puzzled. Isn't this Chief Chen?" Sun Du shouted. His wife quickly pushed him. "Why aren't you greeting your leader? Bring a cigarette." Previously, when Sun Du said that his leader's daughter was sick, he was actually talking about Chen Deshang. Wang Zhong was quite surprised. This world was too small. He didn't expect Chen Deshang to be Sun Du's leader. No wonder Chen Deshang went out so politely. "Chief Chen, what a coincidence." Sun Du opened the door and greeted him. He passed the cigarette over. He didn't need to be polite at all. Chen Deshang was thinking about how to get Wang Zhong to come out earlier. He didn't expect his subordinate to be inside. He was instantly delighted. "Little Sunday. Chief Chen, are you eating here?" "No, I'm looking for help," Chief Chen said. While the two of them were talking, his eldest aunt said arrogantly, "This Chief Chen is really rich. He takes good care of our Sun Du." Chapter 502. I can see that. Look at Mr. Chen. He is so polite to Sun Du's second aunt sighed. The more she looked at Sun Du, the more satisfied she was with him. When the relatives saw Sun Du and the CEO chatting happily, they all nodded their heads secretly. From their point of view, Wang Zhong might have earned some money, but luck played a large part in it. On the other hand, Sun Du was chatting and laughing with his leader, and seemed to be a good person. "Looking for help. Who are you looking for?" Sun Du asked. Chen Deshang just smiled. He did not want to talk to Sun Du anymore. After all, he was still waiting for Wang Zhong to save him. So he looked at Wang Zhong awkwardly. Wang Zhong sighed. He did not expect Chen Deshang to be so impatient. So he waved at Chen Deshang and asked him to go over. The relatives were stunned again. What's going on? Sun Du's leader was summoned by Wang Zhong just like that? "Mr. Li, nice to meet you." Chen Deshang lowered his head with a fawning expression. Sun Du froze. At this moment, he realized he could not see through Li Jia. "Didn't I tell you that I will come after my father-in-law is done?" Wang Zhong said. "I know, but Mr. Li, I'm afraid that if I'm a second late." Okay. You can go and wait for me. 5 minutes. "Thank you, Mr. Li. Chen Deshang, will never forget your kindness. In the future, if you ask me to go east, I will never go west." Chen Deshang was exaggerating a little, but for him to say that in front of so many people, and even his subordinates, it was enough to show how excited and nervous he was. When he left, he bowed to everyone. "Sorry to disturb you." He turned around and held Sun Du's hand tightly. "Xiao Sun, I did not expect Mr. Li to be your relative. Your position was supposed to be Xiao Li's, but I have decided to give it to you." Rumble. It was as if a bolt of lightning had struck Sun Du, waking him up. He was still bragging that his leader wanted to give him a promotion. It was all his wishful thinking. His leader did not even consider him. And now, because of Wang Zhong, Chen Deshang had promoted him. For a moment, his heart was filled with a myriad of emotions. It turned out that the most capable person here was Wang Zhong. To think that he had always looked down on him. In the end, Sun Du didn't even know when Chen Deshang left. He only knew that when he left, Chen Deshang whispered in his ear that he should say a few good words about him in front of Wang Zhong. Oh my god. Even Chief Chen wants to curry favor with Li Jia. What is Li Jia's background? Although he was curious, Sun Du did not say much. Instead, he stood up politely and smiled awkwardly at Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong, so you know my leader. As he spoke, he immediately picked up his wine glass. You should have told me earlier. I thought you didn't have a job. And I even had to introduce you to someone. That don't take it to heart. Wang Zhong laughed and said, You're thinking for me. Why should I take it to heart? Thank you, thank you. Sun Du drank the wine in one gulp and said, If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been promoted. Thank you so much. Wang Zhong pressed his hand and said, Don't be so polite. I still have to go over later. By the way, why did Mr. Chen ask you to go over? Tang Yaqing asked. Li Jia, if you have something to do, you can go over first. Li Lihua smiled. Her attitude was unusually amiable now. Seeing the eager smiles of his relatives and friends, Wang Zhong sighed. This was the power of money. Okay, then I'll go first. Wang Zhong left the place. After going downstairs, Chen Desheng couldn't wait to open the car door. The car drove out. Chen Desheng wiped his tears as he drove, complaining about his foolishness. He blamed himself for chasing Wang Zhong away that day and begged for forgiveness. Wang Zhong was not a petty person, so he didn't say anything. Then Chen Desheng talked about the past 2 days. After his name card worked that day, it was peaceful. But today trouble came again. His wife was also running a high fever. And his daughter even sleepwalked in the middle of the night. She climbed to the window and wanted to jump out. Luckily, his house had installed anti-theft windows, so it didn't lead to a tragedy. But after that incident, he sent his wife and daughter to the hospital and arranged for people to take care of them just in case. Everything was fine at first, but when his wife woke up, she told him about the name card. That day, the 2 nurses said that they had seen something strange. They were so scared that they quit their jobs. No matter how much money they were given, they didn't want to work anymore. Chen Desheng knew that he had encountered something strange, so he immediately rushed over. After listening to Chen Desheng's story, Wang Zhong said, Don't worry. This otherworldly item doesn't have the ability to kill people directly. It usually uses car accidents or jumping off a building as support. As long as there are people around, it won't succeed. Although I've arranged new people to take care of them, I'm worried that they will be scared away again. Wang Zhong nodded. I understand your concern. So, I suggest that you inform the people there to take good care of them. Yes, you're right, Master. Don't call me Master. Just call me Li Jia. Also, I don't want my family to know about me. Wang Zhong had thought about it. His wife had become like this because of the people around her. So it was better for fewer people to know about his ability. At the same time, he was also planning his next step. Since he couldn't find anyone to deal with his wife, he had to find other ways. For example, surveillance. Nowadays, technology was very advanced, and there were countless miniature cameras. When the time came, he could buy some cameras and wiretaps. Maybe he could find some clues about Tangya. The car finally entered a big hospital and entered a ward upstairs. As soon as Wang Zhong entered, he saw Chen Yun and her mother lying on the bed. Wife, I've invited the master. You will be saved soon. As soon as he entered, Chen Desheng excitedly rushed to his daughter's bed. Surprisingly, Chen Yun opened her eyes. She smiled and said, Dad, I seem to be a lot better. Better? Chen Desheng was surprised. Yes, I feel much better. I'm better too. His wife also opened her eyes and sat up. When she saw Wang Zhong, she greeted him. You're here. Have a seat. You're welcome. Wang Zhong just smiled. His eyes twinkled. When did you recover? I remember that when I left, you weren't in a good condition. Chen Desheng said in disbelief. We don't know. Honey, maybe when we threw the card out, that thing was already destroyed. His wife replied. Haha, you dare to show off your slight skill in front of an expert. I can tell at a glance that you're not a human. As soon as Wang Zhong entered the room, he noticed that something was wrong with Chen Yun and her mother. However, he didn't want to alert them, so he didn't say anything. When he came to their bed, he suddenly burst into action. Then, he came to Chen Desheng's wife and slapped her forehead. His other hand also hit Chen Yun's forehead and shouted, "Almighty Heavenly Dragon, Prajna Buddhas Ksitagarbha Dharma I." As he chanted the incantation, the otherworldly item attached to the two women couldn't be controlled anymore and directly came out. The one who came out was a skinny young man wearing glasses and a school uniform. He looked at Wang Zhong with hatred and turned around, wanting to run away. Based on the description of his classmates, Wang Zhong knew that the otherworldly item in front of him was Yi Xiaotian. At the same time, Yi Xiaotian's information appeared in front of him. Discovered spiritual body Yi Xiaotian. Age 21. Lifespan 73. Rage points 287. Spiritual body state. Under the cowardly appearance is a cold and cruel heart. He resents that no one cares about him. He resents that people laugh at him. However, he doesn't dare to change. He targeted stray cats because he thought they were easy to bully. Now that he has become an otherworldly item, he bullies ordinary people because he thinks he's strong enough to bully them. Conclusion: this otherworldly item is stubborn. Suggestion: imprison him. As the information appeared, Yi Xiaotian's last moment appeared in front of him. You want to ask me to go to the forest? At this moment, Yi Xiaotian was hiding beside a trash can by the roadside. In front of him was a pitiful little white cat that was dying. What does Qinyun mean? Does she like me? Suddenly, he took out a bottle of medicine and fed the little white cat a pill. After seeing the little white cat faint, he laughed. This sleeping pill is not bad. Qinyun, wahahaha. He stood up excitedly and was about to cross the road to the forest. However, perhaps because he was too excited, he didn't notice a car speeding over from the roadside. In the car, a cat was quietly watching him. Bang! Just like that, he was hit and sent flying. Damn it. I haven't done anything with Qinyun yet. Why did I die so early? The image stopped abruptly. Wang Zhong sneered in his heart. This cowardly Yi Xiaotian was actually so vicious. Where do you think you're going? Seeing that Yi Xiaotian was about to escape, Wang Zhong pulled Chen Desheng aside and aimed the judgment eye at the otherworldly item. Don't! Although Yi Xiaotian's rage points were very high, he was naturally weak and would only pick on the weak. When he saw Wang Zhong's domineering attitude, he was immediately scared out of his wits. A strong suction force came toward Yi Xiaotian. Strictly speaking, Yi Xiaotian could resist to a certain extent, but he didn't dare to resist at all. He couldn't escape either, so he immediately knelt down. Let me go, it's all because of Qinyun. They wanted to trick me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have attacked them for no reason. You monster, you're still trying to quibble. Wang Zhong sneered. Show yourself now. Chen Desheng saw Yi Xiaotian appear and retreated to the door in fear. I'm not quibbling. I'm also being framed. You think I'm going after you because you killed Lu Jian? You're wrong. I also hurt those cats because of you. You've harmed creatures and are stubborn. You're a disgrace to your identity as a university student. A scumbag like you deserves to die. How did you know? Yi Xiaotian's expression changed drastically. Chapter 503. Yi Xiaotian originally thought that he could show some sympathy and perhaps get Li Tianlan to let him off. He did not expect Li Tianlan to know so much about him. Bam! Wang Zhong pressed his palm on Yi Xiaotian's head and said casually, Justice has a long arm. You didn't expect it, did you? In fact, there was a cat in that car. According to the image, there was indeed a cat in the car. Wang Zhong guessed that it was the cat that Yi Xiaotian killed previously. Cat. One by one, images of the cats that Yi Xiaotian had abused appeared in his mind. Unfortunately, before Yi Xiaotian could recall them in detail, Wang Zhong had imprisoned him. As Yi Xiaotian entered the judgment eye, his soul power increased by another level. At the same time, Wang Zhong felt a burning sensation on his back. This feeling was getting stronger and stronger, causing him to grit his teeth in pain. Mr. Li, are you okay? Chen Desheng approached him in fear. Wang Zhong waved his hand. I'm fine. Maybe the ritual used up too much energy. Looking at his unconscious wife and daughter, Chen Desheng said emotionally, Master, If it weren't for you, my family would have been destroyed. No matter what, I must thank you. As he spoke, Chen Desheng was about to take out the check. Wang Zhong waved his hand and said, "Didn't I write it on my business card? It's free. How can I do that? It's okay. If you have the chance, just tell me more strange things." Master, I, Chen Desheng, misunderstood you previously. I didn't expect you to be so noble. I'm really ashamed. I'm just serving the people. Master, money is still needed. To Chen Desheng, money was nothing. However, at this time his wife and daughter woke up. As Yi Xiaotian was imprisoned, Chen Yun and her daughter regained consciousness, but they still had a slight fever. Dad. Chen Yun woke up rubbing her forehead. Seeing Wang Zhong there, she hurriedly said, "Mr. Li, you're awake. Seems like you're almost recovered." Wang Zhong smiled. "Mr. Li, please sit for a while. You're my family's savior." Chen Desheng tried to persuade Wang Zhong to stay. Wang Zhong said politely, "Auntie and Chen Yun just woke up. Take care of them first." "Mr. Li, what happened to me? What's going on? Was it because of Yi Xiaotian? It's all because of us that he died, right?" As Chen Yun spoke, she lowered her head and became depressed. Wang Zhong sighed and said, "Yi Xiaotian only has himself to blame for this." Why? Chen Yun, who didn't know the inside story, was puzzled. While they were talking, Tian Shuguang suddenly called Wang Zhong. "Brotherly, we've found some news about Yi Xiaotian in school. The police have found out that he's the owner of a cat abuse group that sells videos of him abusing cats. At the same time, they've also found out that he's the owner of a cat abuse group that sells videos of him abusing cats. At the same time, they've also found out that he's been buying sleeping pills and molesting mini girls. This guy is a scumbag. I'll send you the information. I hope you can deal with Yi Xiaotian." Wang Zhong comforted. "Don't worry, I've already dealt with Yi Xiaotian. Just now Chen Yun woke up too. Everything is fine now." "Really? So soon? My classmates and I will go and see her immediately." "Yes." After hanging up, Wang Zhong told them about Yi Xiaotian. Finally, he said to Chen Desheng's family of 3, "According to what I saw, Yi Xiaotian's car accident wasn't a coincidence. He was killed by that demonic cat, and that demonic cat was also out for revenge." "I see. Yi Xiaotian is usually quite honest, but he's a little eccentric. I didn't expect him to be like this. You may know a person for a long time without understanding his true nature. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first." Wang Zhong waved his hand, not leaving a single cloud behind. What a good person. After Wang Zhong left, Chen Desheng was moved to tears. "When you guys are discharged, we'll go over and thank him properly." "Master, what happened to you in the hospital? You seem to be in a lot of pain all of a sudden." Walking on the streets, Su Jie couldn't help but ask. Wang Zhong frowned and said, "My back suddenly hurts. I'll go home and take a look." When he reached home, Wang Zhong immediately went into the bathroom and took off his clothes to check his back. What surprised him was that there was a dragon tattoo on his back. Did I become like this after cultivating the almighty heavenly dragon? The dragon tattoo on his back stared at Wang Zhong like a tiger watching its prey. Wang Zhong thought of something and shouted, "Almighty heavenly dragon!" As he chanted the incantation, his soul power surged, and the dragon tattoo on his back also slowly moved. Su Jie, who was standing next to him, was suddenly shaken and fell outside. Her soul power dissipated a lot. "Are you okay?" Wang Zhong hurriedly dispersed the great mighty heavenly dragon technique and came out to inquire. Su Jie floated to the door in fear. "Don't come over, master. Your aura is too terrifying." "Maybe this is the power of the almighty heavenly dragon," Wang Zhong said apologetically. "I didn't notice, so I've dispersed the technique. I'm fine." "Oh." Su Jie floated over and stood behind Wang Zhong. She said in surprise, "It seems that every time you capture an otherworldly item, your strength increases a lot." "Yeah, maybe Gehenna relies on this to cultivate. It's also a kind of motivation. Otherwise, Gehenna wouldn't be so diligent in subduing monsters." "You're right." Su Jie nodded in agreement. Then she lay on the bed and complained, "Oh, my soul was almost shattered. My clothes are torn." Looking at Su Jie's shameless posture, Wang Zhong shook his head and said, "You're still young. Mind your image. We're at home. What are you afraid of?" Su Jie lay on the sofa and crossed her legs. The way she swung them back and forth was quite beautiful. "I'm not afraid. Tomorrow, I'll burn some clothes for you." "Thank you, master. You're so kind." Wang Zhong shook his head and sighed. Then, he went back to his room to rest. "Humph. You like to look at me. You're pretending to be serious," Su Jie muttered. The next day, Wang Zhong went to the shroud shop. This street was full of necessities for the dead. There were shrouds, joss paper, paper figurines, and everything else. As it wasn't far from here, Wang Zhong walked there. He came to a shop that looked quite big. It was quite well equipped. There were various styles of shrouds and joss paper. There were ancient and modern heaven and earth bank. A little old man was setting up the shelves in the shop. He glanced at Wang Zhong and smiled. "What do you want?" "Let's see the shrouds," Wang Zhong said as he looked at the shrouds hanging on the wall. This shop was quite strange. Why was it strange? In other shops, the shrouds were placed in packaging. The buyer would buy them if the color was acceptable. They wouldn't look at the specific style at all. However, this shop placed the shrouds like a clothing shop. Many of the shrouds were worn by paper figurines. They looked quite beautiful. Su Jie liked this place as soon as she came in. She said in surprise, "There are so many styles. It's so beautiful." "Boss, your shrouds are quite beautiful." Wang Zhong chatted with the old man. The old man was a little hunchbacked. He smiled and said, "When people die, they just change their way of living. They also have dignity. They put their shrouds like this, so that the otherworldly items can pick them at first glance." "I see." Wang Zhong nodded. "Do you have any new styles?" "Of course." The old man smiled and took out several women's shrouds. Wang Zhong was stunned. "Boss, how did you know that I want women's shrouds?" "Haha." The old man just smiled and didn't say anything. "He can't see me, right?" Su Jie mumbled. She found that the shrouds in front of her were not only for women, but also very fashionable. They were very suitable for a young girl like her. Then Wang Zhong picked several shrouds, packed them up and paid for them. Before leaving, the old man reminded him, "Otherworldly items are beautiful, but they don't have a good ending. You should let them go." Wang Zhong smiled and said, "You're reminding me?" Su Jie scolded the old man. "That damn old man can see me. Why is he still pretending? Scumbag, old scumbag." The old man frowned and snorted. As expected of an otherworldly item, you don't know how to respect the old and love the young. Wang Zhong was speechless. "Grandpa, if you can see me, you should have said so earlier. There's nothing to say. You're still young and don't know anything. You took this girl because she's pretty. Be careful, or you'll get yourself killed." "Grandpa, you're exaggerating." "Yeah, you scumbag." "Why do you think I'm unlucky? Old scumbag." Su Jie shouted angrily. The old man snorted. "If it weren't for this young man protecting you, I would have beaten you up already." The old man picked up a bronze sword on the side and threatened Su Jie. When the bronze sword approached Su Jie, she quickly stepped back and frowned. "Old scumbag, you're quite capable." "Grandpa, don't misunderstand. Su Jie hasn't done anything bad. I only kept her by my side to get some things on my phone and computer," Wang Zhong explained. "What are you doing with those things?" "I'm looking for some strange things to deal with." "So that's how it is. But you're still young, and your magic power isn't high. I advise you to keep a low profile. Although there are many ordinary evil creatures in this world, there are also many powerful ones hidden. The previous Netherworld Masters died without knowing why. The previous Netherworld Masters died. Wang Zhong frowned. He didn't seem to have heard about this from the Netherworld Master. Could it be that the Netherworld Master deliberately didn't say it? "You don't know about the Netherworld Master?" the old man asked. "To be honest, I'm actually the Netherworld Master." Wang Zhong showed the Eye of Judgment on his palm. "As expected, you're the Netherworld Master. Kid, as a Netherworld Master, although your cultivation increased quickly after obtaining the Eye of Judgment, it also increased the danger." "Oh, Senior, may I ask why?" Wang Zhong asked. "Didn't the Netherworld Master tell you?" Wang Zhong shook his head. "When the Netherworld Master ordered me to become the Netherworld Master, He had important matters to attend to and had already left. Sigh, it's really not peaceful recently. I don't know how long my small shop can stay open. The old man frowned. Senior, please tell me. It's fine to tell you. It's not a secret in the netherworld anyway. The eye of judgment in your hand can allow your cultivation to increase quickly. But once you reach a certain boundary point, the power inside will attract other evil creatures. At that time, it will be very unfavorable for you. I see. My name is Lija. May I know Senior's name? Just call me Old Huang. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.